with me, take the journey.
From the rusty time, those years. Don't stay in a daze looking for a sign. Start and try. Run across fields of ice, but hidden in starlight. Be well aware of roads we've gone by. Put yesterday's aside, meet the future head on. Now trailblazers keep credos in mind.
Wrapped in biting wind, hearts will never bleed. Frozen and banished out of greed. In their restless dreams, they try so hard to breathe. Pulses flutter and sting within this bleakness.
We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the pain. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this storming world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to end those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now.
The way to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. The day to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. Oh, we will see. Come with me, take the journey. We will see. Come with me, take the journey.
'Cause fields of ice but hidden in starlight. Be well aware of roads we've gone by. Put yesterday's aside, meet the future head on. Now trailblazers keep credos in mind. One, stop staying within the lines. Two, we always align. Three, even if we don't get the upper hand, we'll fight for right. Four, never care and report hindsight. Five, let us light the night. Six, even when there are wills within, we'll go ahead. Get it pulverized.
我们阻绝恶名，我们宣扬美誉，盲目、渴望、虔诚，咫尺星河，纯美无处不在，受勋骑士银之向您起誓，纯美永驻。
大家好，我是星际争霸2世界冠军李培南。作为职业选手，每天大部分时间都是在电脑前度过。每次训练结束都会有不同程度的腰酸背痛，所以我们对电竞椅的要求都非常严格，能保护腰部并且坐感舒适，成为我们挑电竞椅的重要指标。我们一直在用的傲风电竞椅就完美做到这一点。升级的锥背小弹腰有足够的支撑力，并且上下前后都能调节，坐着很舒服，非常适合大家玩游戏的时候使用。不论用什么姿势，正坐、靠着、躺着。腰托都可以支撑我的腰部，非常舒服。再来坐感，这款还配置了空调坐垫，夏天凉爽，冬天温暖，真的是跟空调一样精准控温。训练久了总觉得闷热，坐垫有3档风度调节，游戏再也不闷屁股了。现在天气转凉了，坐垫同样配置了3档加热功能，让身体一直保持温暖，游戏手感一直火热。训练之余刷刷手机休息一下，玩玩手游。6D 机械手臂可以自调节高度，手臂不会感觉累，同时扶手面很大，即使有大动作也不会落空。相信我，跟我一起选择傲风机械大师电竞椅，你也可以逆袭成为冠军。
打开微信，搜索公众号“星际老男孩 SC Boy”， 这里有每日的直播预告、重要的赛事报道、精彩的视频剪辑、有趣的主播八卦、定期的抽奖福利以及爆笑的节奏和评论。关注 SC Boy 官方公众号，365天每天更新，让你与20万猛男一起更便捷的享受我和黄哥给大家带来的快乐。不要告诉别人哟。
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition of WTL 2023 Winter Round 10, day number 2. Oh my god, we are back with another day here of World Team League. We wrapped up yesterday, of course, with day number 1, and we had a couple of technical issues, and we had some buffering issues and some clean feed issues. But we have been informed that if that does persist today, then we will be getting in game, and we will be able to observe ourselves. But here we go in the bottom left-hand corner. We have for Team Liquid, it is Cure. Soon. There he is. there he is. And in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player. It is Rewhite's Chin. That's an interesting angle. Aye, Bobby. Let's go. Rewhite for Starlight Twinkle, of course, and a big shout out as well to the sponsors of WTL. We were talking about it in the Twitch chat earlier, but a shout out to Doyu, Honkai Star, Taido, and Oriful. Without our lovely sponsors, then, of course, WTL World Team League would not be possible, would not be a thing. So a big, massive shout out indeed as we ease our way into our first game, into our first matchup here. Again, it's going to be Team Liquid versus Starlight Twinkle. We just dove right into the series itself. We have quite a stacked lineup. We have Cure versus Rewhite, Alazer versus Wayne, and Clem versus Nice. We are missing a player. We are missing a regular from Starlight Twinkle, and that is Cham. In the absence of Cham, Rewhite is going to be stepping in. And Rewhite has been doing very well for himself. He has been improving quite a lot over the past year of play. I would say that Rewhite, one of his biggest accomplishments was Rewhite actually took down Showtime maybe 2 months ago at this point in Kung Fu Cup. Rewhite popped off and he just took down Showtime in a PvP, and he didn't even cheese him either. That's the impressive thing. There wasn't even some like crazy cheese or proxy shenanigans. No, straight up, he just knocked out Showtime. It was very impressive. But that was a PvP matchup, and this is something a little bit different. And he's up against arguably the ace player of Team Liquid, so Rewhite. He's got some big shoes to fill to make up for Cham, and he's got quite an opponent ahead of him. Quite an opponent, but I'm ready for it. I am here for it. Again, Team Liquid, they're one of the stronger teams in the league. But Starlight Twinkle, they are not without their own wins. They have, of course, caused their own upsets, and they can bring it here to some of these other big names. I want to believe. For now, we do have a double gas opener here from Cure going into a CC on the high ground, delayed CC. Oh, the probe gets caught! The probe is going to be found. It does get shut down. Ay. Not like this, as we do have Widowmine production back at home. Again, remember, it was a double gas opener from Cure, so he's going for a faster factory. A delayed CC from our blue Terran player as he gets across the map. Just trying to get a read of what's going on. Just trying to get a scout on what exactly is occurring. As Reaper does try to dance here with the Adept and does barely escape. In the end, gets one more probe here on the low ground, or gets a probe on the low ground. So a nice pick off here before escaping, before getting the hell out of the main base. As is being pointed out, the Adept did successfully zone away the Reaper. The Reaper did not go into the main, so we don't know if it's a Stargate or a Twilight Council opener. Cure is in the dark as to the follow-up, as to the tech of choice. And he's going to be committing to a mine drop. And hopefully he can avoid the Phoenix. That's the big danger right now for Cure, is he doesn't really know what to be careful of and what to look out for. As the Reaper is going back into the main, Adept is in position, but we dive in anyway. Up! Oh, we did miss a shot, and the Reaper, I believe, got close enough. And yep, there we go. We did barely see that Stargate. We are aware of the potential Phoenixes. Immediately, a Cyclone is on the way. The Cyclone is beautiful defensively. It can shut down Oracles, shut down Phoenixes. It is on the way, and we are still committing to our drop. It's going to be a triple Widowmine drop with 2 Marines. The Marines, they add a little bit of extra DPS here when it comes to focusing down probes. The Marines can do a surprising amount of damage. Meanwhile, the Phoenix comes in on its lonesome. Can't really do much to really deal any damage. We do need a second Phoenix to actually kill any SCVs, and we do get eyes on the production. And we also saw the CC being floated over towards the natural. Again, Cure going for a bit of a later expansion here, but he can make up for it with some worker kills. And here comes Cure right towards that mineral line. Do you have a Phoenix in position? No, never mind. We do avoid it. The mine drop does come in. We do react in time. We do pull away. But again, there are Marines as well as Widow Mines. And the Marines, they do focus down a couple of those probes. The mine shots go off. Oh my god, massive connection in the mineral line. 8 workers go down. The probes, they came back a little bit too soon, and this has more than paid for itself. And one of the mines scuttles away. It's hiding. Not going to be able to hide for much longer, though. But regardless, 3 Widow Mines, 2 Marines for 8 probes. Not too bad. And an Adept as well. And here we go. Cure can now break free. The Phoenixes will force back home, and now we can move out with the Cyclones, with the Viking, as well as the Marines. As we are going to be pushing, reinforcing across the map. Behind this, Curie is getting his natural up and running. He has caught up in workers. Earlier, he was behind because of the delayed CC, but now he is ahead. We're even in workers plus mules. Cure has the better economy. And Cure is going to be moving towards that natural base, towards that third even. Nice pod shots off on that Phoenix. It's going to be focused now. We have 2 Phoenixes left. And we're soon to be down to 1, as it's barely going to be focused down as well. Adepts are doing what they can, but the Cyclone does land. A couple of Marines are going to be rallying on forward. The Viking lands as well. We do barely focus down the Cyclone just in time. But we're pushing up the ramp, and these Adepts are having a lot of trouble. At the same time, Liberator into the main, and where's the anti-air? It's gone at this point. The Phoenix, no, the lock-on is too real. It looks like another Phoenix is going to be going down. We get 5 worker kills in the main base. We have broken on into the into the third base as well, focusing down that Nexus. I believe Rewhite should be able to save this, but he loses the pylon. He lost so much of his army. His Phoenix helm was reset. Expensive losses here for Rewhite, and Cure, he's still rallying across the map. And yo, can he force a cancel? It's going to be close. Stalkers are coming in. We do get a lock-on. God, there's just so much DPS potential in that one Cyclone. Forcing back those Stalkers. It looks like we will get... Oh, we do get 1. We get 2. 2 Stalkers go down. Sure, we have the Cyclone CC'd, but we can't do much else. As another Phoenix barely escapes, we focus down the Stalkers. The Stunner stepping for the Marines. And it looks like, again, Rewhite, he's just losing far too much here. Every single Phoenix goes down. Finally, we clean up that Cyclone. Another Viking arrives, which we can land. We can land. Yeah, we go. Tank rocks up as well. We're getting within range of the production. The Artosis pylon is exposed, and we can depower the robot as well as the gateway. And this is just slowly escalating out of control here. Again, we're just trickling in a handful of units at a time. We focus on another Phoenix. What is that, like 7, 8 dead Phoenixes at this point? Another Stalker. There is no blink. We can't micro back. We cannot blink back. And Cure finally gets cleaned up. I believe Rewhite did hold on to his third. So he does still have his third base. He is still down in workers, though. And what's important, again, the Phoenixes and the Stalkers, their accounts were being reset over and over again. These are units that have to build up over time. They have to build up over the course of this game. They are not cheap to replace, and Rewhite is hurting. He is hurting right now, trying to recover. Cure consolidating his army, and he's working on his upgrades. We got +1 attack, +1 defense, stim, combat shields, concussive shell as well on the way for Cure. And all of this is going to be lined up here for one big timing. We also have an armory for +2. So Cure is thinking further ahead. He's getting his third base up and running on location. Cure still has an economic lead, by the way. And Rewhite just now starting up his Colossus. There's a lot of power in a Colossus. There's a lot of power in that splash damage, don't get me wrong. There's potential here for Rewhite to take a better fight. But Colossus on their own are quite fragile. We need something to support. We need something to help bolster that army. And Rewhite is still working on it. Is still working on it. As for now, we do see the army moving out. It looks like we do get eyes on at least the Raven. Ooh, one of those Phoenixes does get picked off. Again, good pick off by Cure. 2-2 on the way. Remember all those upgrades we mentioned before? They've all finished. They've all finished. We have lined them all up. I don't think we have an interference matrix. I think we have the auto turret instead. I'm not entirely certain. So we're going to try to focus down. We get the sentry. Sentry goes down. Tank getting in position. We have a shield battery. We do have an overcharge. The Raven, and there it is. We do indeed have the disable right on the Colossus. We only had only one Colossus, and it can't do anything. We focus down the gateway units one after the other. Overcharge, putting in a lot of work, but it's not going to be enough. There's just too much DPS, too much firepower. The Colossus goes down even under the protection of the overcharge. And we can get the second Colossus as well. GG gets called, and Cure will take game number 1. Whew. GG. A solid game there at a Cure. Powerful performance there as well. You could see Rewhite just struggling to tread water, essentially. He was just trying to stay afloat, keep his head above water. And, I mean, he was for a time, don't get me wrong, but Cure was in control, basically, of that entire game. From the get-go, he was in the driver's seat. He was dictating the pace of the game. and it was Rewhite struggling to keep up. But that was merely game 1, and this is a best of 2 format. Best of 2, which means losers pick, and 1 game is all Rewhite needs to tie things up 1-1 and to fight back against Cure. The question becomes, what kind of map do we go for, and what kind of outlook does Rewhite really want in this kind of matchup and against Cure? I'm going to assume Rad is a station. I'm going to assume that Rewhite wants to get into a longer game, into the mid game, maybe even the late game. And he is going for a wider map, don't get me wrong, but not Radsit. We're going for Hecate. Hecate is up next. Okay, interesting choice here. Again, based on the build, based on the playstyle, to wind it back a little bit, we were focusing a lot on what Cure was doing. Rewhite was attempting to go Phoenix Colossus into a third base. He was attempting to get into an economic opener into a robust mid-game. Wasn't able to pull it off. Hecate is not a bad map to try to go for a similar playstyle. I'm hoping we try to shake things up, but typically Rewhite, he's not really a cheesy player. He's not really one to try to catch you off guard. Kind of more standard macro play is typically what we expect to be seeing from Rewhite, but we'll see. We shall see. As we're going to be getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have, for Team Liquid, it is Cure. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player. For Starlight Twinkle, it is Rewhite. Here we go. Ooh. Rewhite just taking a bit of a swig as we get ready for this. Show us that shit. Oh, don't forget to hydrate everyone. Drink plenty of water as we delve into that second game. Cure, interesting pathing actually. Cure is going to be going the long way around with his scouting SCV. This looks like an eBay block to purposely hide the SCV, does avoid the scouting probe. SCV is going to be sneaking up on that natural base, and we should be looking for that engineering bay block. And we'll see if Rewhite can get eyes on this in time. We'll see if he can try and deny this, as he does not have a second probe on the low ground. Didn't go for the pylon on the low ground either, which means this engineering bay is going to be able to get up and running. I mean, I say up and running. Essentially, you wanted to try to get up to like 99% progression on it, and then pull out just in time. It's going to be on Cure to pull out to make sure he does not finish that eBay. And as a result, that's going to be forcing the unnatural natural out of Rewhite. And things can get really chaotic from here. Essentially, oh my god, as we have the SCV block as well. No! Cure being even more annoying, denying that third, and forces Rewhite to delay his expansion even longer as he heads towards the linear base location. And again, the goal here is for Cure to pull him apart early on. We do see a factory before CC. The reasoning for this, Cure is going to be getting into reactor, I believe, Cyclones or Hellions first. Pick your poison. We'll see which one Cure goes for. Basically, hyper aggression here out of Cure, and his goal is to pull apart his opponent. Cure, he doesn't have to attack the natural. He can go into the main. It's going to be on Rewhite to split up his units and to try to defend both these bases at once, despite them being so far apart. So the pressure is on Rewhite. Pressure is on. It's going to be a Stargate opener. Typical response here. The reason why is, one, with Phoenixes, you can CC Cyclones and Hellions. You can pick them up. They're also that much more mobile and faster to maneuver between the bases, because it takes a little bit too long to get into Blink. If we rely on Blink Stalkers, again, Blink still takes quite a ways to actually get into with the Twilight Council opener, and again, you can be pulled apart. So Stargate is usually the tech of choice. Cure forcing that out. Meanwhile, Adept does arrive. We do delay the CC on the low ground. Very nicely done. But the Hellions have arrived. We have scattered the Hellions. Bear that in mind. 2 Hellions going to be moving out. We have 2 more behind this. Ooh, and we will be able to focus down at that first Adept. Now, when it comes to some of the math here, it takes 3 Hellion shots to one-shot a probe. So 3 Hellions is the bare minimum you need to start one-shotting workers. And if they line up, you can roast up quite a lot of workers in that mineral line, as Cure is making his way across the map. And again, he has a choice to make. I mean, he can either go for the natural or go for the main. His goal here is for economic damage, as he has joined forces, consolidated his army, and is going straight for the natural. Ooh, Adepts are in position. And we're going to be bypassing those Adepts. Instead, we go straight for that mineral line. We get 2 workers already. We get a third, and we should be able to get a fourth, maybe even more than that. Phoenix has arrived, and with that, we can pick up one of those Hellions, which does reduce that one-shot potential. But that was still 5 workers. 5 workers for 1 Hellion. As the other 3 escape. Oh my god. Just not enough DPS, and the Hellion does make it out. At the same time, 2 more Hellions try to dive into the main, but this time, Rewhite, he's in position, picks up one of the Hellions as we're going in for a scout. So this could have been a crippling amount of damage. Thankfully, Rewhite, he does, maintain his losses. Still 5 worker kills, though, is brutal, but now we can go for a big counterattack. Adepts, they have arrived. Cyclone, though, is in position. And with that, we should be able to focus down these Adepts. They do get into the mineral line. They get 1. They get 2. 2 SCVs. They delay the eBay. Nah, not too bad. Not too bad here. From Rewhite. Keeps most of the Adepts alive. Meanwhile, Phoenix is going to be threatening the main base, but the Cyclones are in position. Oof. And they do get some hull damage on one of those Phoenixes, but they also get eyes on the follow-up. A very committed follow-up. I don't know if you saw that. That's 3 Raxes, 1 Factory, delayed starport. Oh, good target firing out of Cure. Getting a lot of hull damage done on those Phoenixes. Doesn't kill anything, but they are very battered and bruised. But what did I just mention? 3 Raxes, 1 Factory. That is a delayed starport, which means we are building up a very heavy Marine army initially. We're focusing on just production overall, and we're going to be hitting a timing with the first 2 medevacs. So a very dedicated push is going to be coming out from Cure. As usually you would go for a 1-1-1 follow-up for like scouting information, like a Widowmine drop, for example, things like that. Instead, Cure, he's focusing more on building up his army. He's going to be active a little bit later on the map, but soon we should be seeing an add-on swap. The reactor is being finished on the factory. We should be swapping with the starport to get into the medevacs. The army's preemptively moving out, though, without the medevacs. Bold move. I believe stim is done. We have to be very careful with how and when we stim because there are no medevacs currently with the army. A couple of SCVs are going down, but the Phoenixes are out of position. Cure, he knows. He did just spot the Phoenixes. He knows they're not at home. There's that first stim. Diving into the main base. That was a big stim, though. Not able to DPS down too much. He rushes into the mineral line. The boys are being pulled. Oh my god. And just like that, 19 workers go down, and that is game-ending damage. Even if this army gets cleaned up here and now, it's already done so much. That's 20 dead workers. And now we can focus down those Phoenixes. They were softened up from earlier. 3 of them go down. Big pickoffs. And now we have the reinforcements diving towards that third. It looks like we have been pulled apart. We have a recall, but the recall is too late. We get another 4 workers. And now we can rotate towards that natural. Slow lots to defend. And it's just too much. Again, Rewhite caught with his pants down, and I don't blame him. Again, Cure did attack faster than normal because he chose to attack before he had medevacs. Bit of a Bjorn move. Bjorn does that very often as well. That is 31 probes dead in total. The Phoenix count was basically reset. I think we have 0 Phoenixes left. And all Cure has to do is survive the counterattack. We got a third CC on the way. +1 combat shields is done. Concussive shell on the way. Getting into our 5-1-1 setup on 3 bases. 5 Raxes is what I mean. Adept's going to be threatening a shade towards that main, but again, we are in position. The wall is looking solid. We commit to the shade. Head into the natural. We will get a couple of SCVs. We have to do whatever we can here to come back in this game, and we're getting some SCV kills, which is nice. 4 workers, but again, that pales in comparison to what Cure was able to accomplish earlier. And now here comes the kill move, this time with medevacs, which means we can stim a little bit more freely. We can sustain ourselves now with the healing potential of those medevacs. We have Marauders as well, not just Marines, so we have a hefty army that can go toe-to-toe with a ground-based composition, with Stalkers, with Adepts, with Zealots. Concussive Shell is done. Again, there's only 1 Phoenix on the map, and it misses the drop. I mean, even if it saw the drop, 1 Phoenix couldn't really do anything. It could not stop this drop anyway. As we go straight for the main base, I see an Artosis pylon, but we go for the mineral line. We can go for whatever we want at this point. There are some Zelts coming in. I believe charge is done. But everything is depowered. The Stargate, the +1, mine drop into the third. No reaction. 6 workers go down. GG gets called, and Cure will take the series 2-0. Damn. GG. GG, well played again. Cure, one of the best Terrans in the world. Anyone would have trouble with him, and Yeah, Rewhite did step up to the plate. Unfortunately, was not able to keep up with the multi-pronged aggression of Cure, or just the aggression in general. And Cure takes a 2-0. A solid start here for Team Liquid. Very solid start. Whew. And that wraps up our first best of 2, but we have plenty more ahead of us. Up next is going to be a Laser versus Wayne in a ZVZ, and specifically in a ZVZ. Mate, this could go either way. Wayne, of course, he is the ace player of Starlight Twinkle. He's one of the best Zerg players in all of Europe. I do want to say that, obviously, when it comes to European Zergs, we have several. We have Raynor as top 2, then just underneath them, you've got Lambo, you've got a Laser, and you have Wayne as well. I would kind of say that they are the top 5 amongst them. Amongst the Europeans. And yeah, Wayne, we have seen him pop off in ZVZ before. We've seen Wayne beat several in ZVZ. So can he take down a Laser? I believe so. But what is the score going to be? Are we going to be seeing a 2-0 in either direction or a 1-1? Predictions in the chat will soon be open. Don't forget, predictions, you don't have a lot of time to place your bets just because games start so quickly. So get ready for that. And think about it for a moment as well. Likewise, a Laser is no slouch. He also has quite powerful, quite formidable ZVZ of his own. But I do think this is going to be a closer series overall. Cure versus Rewhite, there was a little bit more of a skill gap there. There definitely was. When it comes to a Laser and Wayne, a little bit less so. A little bit less so. I do think that overall a Laser is slightly favored. That is true. But Wayne can fight back. He can punch up. He can take it to the best of the Zerg players in Europe. And it looks like we are getting into it. Our players are getting ready. The lobby is being made. And we have a look, a gander, at some of that ELO. Some of them stats here for our players. Oh, beautiful. The ZVZs are upon us. And this is the opportunity that Starlight Twinkle needs to start putting some points on the board and make a series out of this. They are currently at a 2-0 deficit. For those that are curious, this is a best of 7 overall. So first team to 4 wins will take the series. 4 wins is all you need. Of course, Wayne has to avoid the 2-0 as well to make sure that his teammate Nice has a chance as well. As it looks like game number 1 is going to be on Site Delta. Here we go. Site Delta is going to be up next. Meanwhile, big shout out to some of the people in the chat. Kronos, thank you so much. 감사합니다. 안녕하세요, Kronos. Oh my god, thank you so much for resubscribing for 6 months, half a year. Thank you. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Always do appreciate it. Gracias, gracias. Oh. So just catching up as well in the chat. Everything that's been going on. Zergburger. 007. Interesting code name. But here we go. We're loading on in and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Side Delta. We have a Laser for Team Liquid. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have a Wayne for Starlight Twinkle. Here we go. Here we go. Again, if you're in the chat, predictions are going to close in a couple of seconds. So place your bets on how you think this matchup will unfold. 2-0 in either direction or a 1-1 score. As a reminder, it's a best of 2, so 1-1s are also possible as well. Also a viable option. As for now, a Laser is going to be going for a hatch first. So is Wayne. For the time being, everything is on the up and up. Again, we are on Side Delta. Side Delta has a bit of a longer rush distance by ground compared to some of these other smaller maps, like your Oceanborns, your Golden Auras, your Hard Leads, for example. So going for early pool timings, a little bit less effective here on Site Delta. Likewise, another important thing to point out, as the Laser is going for a hatch gas pool, so is Wayne, is we do have a ramp leading into the natural. This is one of the few maps in the map pool that actually has a ramp into the natural. The other one is Radset Station. Because of this, you do have a little bit of extra defender's advantage, which means if you did want to open up 2 base, this is not a bad map to do it on. If you want to open up 2 base and go into like mute a play or try to go for something to catch your opponent off guard, it is something to bear in mind and something that you can think about. Otherwise, we could just be seeing some standard play, which I wouldn't be opposed to. You know, we get our third bases up and running, Bailey nests are thrown down, and we can get into some Ling Bane aggression. We'll see. We shall see. Again, our players here, they have had a pretty intense weekend. We just wrapped up with the IEM Europe qualifiers earlier today. I mean, I say earlier today, like 12 hours ago, which I think was yesterday, depending on where you are in the world. But yeah, we were casting the IEM Katowice European closed qualifiers earlier, and it was intense. It was a long broadcast as well. It was 6 hours. It was a 6-hour long qualifier. Went the distance. So many ace matches, so many game fives. If you missed out, I highly recommend checking out the VODs. We had an amazing time, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Upsets were had, you know, memories were made. And we are that much closer to confirm which players make it to Poland next year, which players make it to IEM Katowice. Again, the Americas qualifier is 12 hours from now, actually. In 12 hours' time, we're going to be live here on this channel covering the Americas open server qualifier. Bearing in mind the word that I just used, it is open to all regions. So even if some of your favorite players from Korea or from Europe didn't qualify last night, they still have another chance in the Americas open server qualifiers, because the qualifiers are open to all regions. You know, they are server based but open to all regions. Because they're server based, it does mean that some players will be playing with worse ping than others. I believe the Americans get advantage and they get prioritization. But as I get into that, we are going to be cutting workers. We have 16 links on the way for a laser. Likewise, safety Bailey Nest on the way for Wayne. A laser skipping his own Bailey Nest, just flooding links across the map. It's going to be on Wayne to defend. He needs to morph these Bailings as quickly as possible. Up until now, everything was normal. We were taking our third bases, but again, a laser has chosen violence. He has chosen to skip that Bailey Nest to just double down. It's going to be close here. It's going to be very close. We cannot waste these Bailings for Wayne. As additional lings are on the way, that hatchery taking a lot of damage. Oh, and it looks like we may force a cancel. No, we finish it, and it's going to be killed. A big loss there. That's a kill on the hatchery. Ay, ay, ay. One Bailing got wasted as well. We have one Bailing left. And now Wayne, he's on the back foot. He is technically up in tech because the laser doesn't have Bailings available. No! But Wayne, he's out of position. And the Queens! Oh, they do get surrounded. One of them does. Bailing rolls in. We do zone back a laser. Wayne, he holds on to his Queens. But again, he's at a disadvantage. A laser just now starts up his own Bailing Nest. Still needs time, though. Again, there's going to be a period here. There's a window where a laser has to defend with pure Ling. And his opponent is going to have that Bailing advantage. But Wayne is droning. He droned up for a moment. Now making more Lings. But it looks like, yeah, Wayne is going to try and turtle on two bases. I mean, I say turtle on two bases. He's retaking his third base, but he's throwing down the Roach Warren. Looks like he's done with Ling Bane. Obviously, he has to defend with it, but it looks like he's not really looking to apply too much or to commit across the map. As he tries to move out, but a laser, he has eyes on him. Yeah, he forces back those Lings. Yeah, now here we go. The Bailing Nest for a laser is done. Bailings are on the way. And Wayne is in some trouble. We can't waste them. One Bailing goes off. We have two left. We do have two left. The Bailings of a laser waddling into the mineral line as well. Trying to connect with those Lings. Another Bailing of Wayne does go off. He has one left. One Bailing remaining. The Queen's getting surrounded. It looks like a laser may just have too much. Yeah, he has too much at this point. There are no Bailings left for Wayne. The natural base has been compromised. We bust into the mineral line. And it looks like we will take out the workers. Massive connections. 13, 14 dead workers here. We're trying to get into Roach production, but we're just taking too many economic losses. Massive connection in the main. It takes two Bailings to kill workers. Meanwhile, at the same time, Wayne, he also busts into the natural. Wayne, he's not taking this lying down. He's also dealing some counter damage, but I spoke too soon because the reinforcements arrive, and Wayne is forced out of the natural base of a laser. Ay, ay, ay. He forces lost mining time. He's all in at this point. Roaches are waddling across the map. Now, Wayne does have a supply lead. He does have an army supply lead specifically. There's potential with these Roaches. He has one Bailing. We can't waste it. Oh my god. Oh, it is going to be targeted down. Good target firing there from a laser. Another Bailing has completed. Wayne, he's gaining ground. He takes down a Queen. Good connection. Good Bailing connection. Going for another Queen as well. Oh, but again, we have the defender's advantage. A laser, he's trickling in with reinforcements. Additional Queens, additional Roaches. Wayne trying to dive on this. The boys are being pulled. Spinecrawler does finish. And it looks like a laser. He does hold on to his third. He forces back the army. Files will kind of connect. League reinforcements are coming in, but it looks like Wayne is running out of steam. GG gets called, and a laser will take game number 1. GG. Oh my god. Laser a little bit stressed out about that game, but for the most part, he was in control. And yeah, just really well done with his first Link Flood. His first Link Flood basically set him ahead. If you remember, he wasn't able to kill any workers with his first Link Flood, but he did kill the third base. He killed the third base, and suddenly Wayne was on the back foot. He also killed the queen. He was able to trade against Lings, avoid big Bailey connections. And a laser, sure, he went for a delayed Bailey nest, but he got it in time. He got it up and running in time to deal with Wayne, and in the end, a laser was in the driver's seat. Wayne playing from behind from almost the beginning there. The pressure was on. Ooh, and with that, Wayne, he's going to be fighting here for his team's survival in this series. One more loss, and Team Liquid will take it. Wayne has to win here and now, again, to give his teammate Nice a chance. And I want to believe, again, it's a loser's pick. It's going to be Wayne's map of choice, and he's going for Hecate as game number 2. He is going for Hecate. Again, a bit of a wider map here. I believe shorter rush distance than Site Delta, if I'm not mistaken, if not by a couple of seconds. But if Wayne wants to be aggressive, I don't think this would be the map to do it on anyway, as we're going to be loading on in. And in the top right-hand corner of Hecate, we have, for Team Liquid, a laser. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have, for Starlight Twinkle, Wayne. I love how, obviously, I'm pretty sure they're in slightly different time zones, but not by that much. I love the contrast here, where like we have the brightly lit room of a laser, and we have Wayne in the smudge. He's embracing the darkness. Let's go. Drawing the curtains, making sure the sunlight does not enter the room. It's gaming hours, Bobby. It's time to game. I can vibe with it. I like it. Here we go. For now, hatch gas pool openers from both players. Hatch first is what I was trying to go for, and yeah, everything's looking normal. Again, I don't think Hecate would have been the best map to go for something more aggressive like a faster gas or a faster spawning pool, so standard openers all around. Curious how Wayne wants to approach this. I'm sure after that last game, Wayne does want to be aggressive. You don't have to go gas first to be aggressive in this game. You can cut workers. As we saw last game, you can even cut the Bailey nest and go for a Link Flood. Or even try to get into a fast Evo chamber for +1 carapace. There are options. There are options available here for Wayne. Meanwhile, a laser, I'm sure he's feeling pretty comfortable. Remember, Wayne is the ace player. Wayne, he's the best player on his team, so for a laser to take one game, he's already done his job. He's already done the bare minimum he needed to do here for Team Liquid, but he could do even more than that, as the Overlord is going to be getting across the map. Just confirming, of course, the hatch first, confirming the hatch timing. We are going to be joining on up. And this time I'll focus a little bit more on the game. Last game I was on a bit of a tirade about IM Katowice and talking about like qualifiers and all that stuff. I was a little bit distracted. Took me a moment to realize what was happening. But this time we'll focus. It's all good. As for now, third base is on the way. Lings are moving out to scout to get eyes on our opposing player. And everything is still looking quite normal so far. Third bases are on time. We're droning, making a handful of Lings here and there for either player just to defend, just to be safe. And we should soon be seeing Bailey Nest as well. Bailey should soon be on the way. Lings of Wayne do get across the map. There's a Bailey Nest from a laser, and we should soon be seeing the same from Wayne. As for now, he does have an extra pair of Lings back at home, and we have additional Lings on the way. Other turns tabling. Not quite. For a moment there, I was like, are we just going to be banking up Lings and going for a Link Flood? But no, we do throw out the Bailey Nest. We do squeeze out a couple of drones. It does look like Wayne does want to be the aggressor though. He invests once again into 10 more Lings. So a bit of a role reversal. A laser is going to be defending. Wayne is going to be attacking. And we'll see if a laser can hold on to his third. And hold on to his mineral line. Queens are going to be waddling out. Bailings are on the way for a laser. Again, the Nets was a little bit faster. Two of them in production behind the Queens. Hatchery is taking a lot of damage. But here we go. We dive on top of the army. We dive on top of the queens as well. We do get a decent round on one of them with Bailings. They do arrive just in time. They zone Wayne back. Oh, we did have a Ling slip into the main base, but wasn't able to deal enough damage. Bailings now on the way from Wayne. Oh my god. As he does try to split up his Lings. Does try to trigger some of those Bailings. Roach Warren is on the way for Wayne as well. Taking up quite quickly behind this. Still trying to find some damage. It looks like he will get one queen. Good connection. And it looks like he barely will get a second queen as well. Nice pickoffs here from Wayne. Oh, decent Bailing as well. Not amazing, but good enough. I think that was like, what, 5, 6 Lings? Good trades. Good trades from Wayne. He backs off. Sure, he didn't deal game-ending damage or crippling damage like killing a mineral line or killing the third base, but he killed 2 queens and he traded efficiently with his Bailings. So a good start here from Wayne. Behind this, both players, they join up to 34. Roaches are on the way. A laser is 1 step behind when it comes to his Roach timing. Meanwhile, oof, oh my god. We do bait out 2 for 1. 2 Lings for 1 Bailing. Pretty good trades here for Wayne. Once again, very meticulous control, splitting up a couple of Lings. He does get another Bailing. Very nice trades. Does lose a Bailing of his own. Ooh, meanwhile, a laser, he slips in. Roaches are pushing out, but there are 2 Bailings in the main base of Wayne. He doesn't see, he doesn't know. And he may be forced all in. Depending on how many workers go down, that may just force Wayne to pull the trigger. As here we go, the Bailings are waddling into that mineral line. Roaches are moving out. No reaction! No! 9 workers go down, a massive connection. A laser far ahead in the economy. And now Wayne, he has to counterattack. He has to push in. He has to make something happen. Behind this, Lair is on the way. Roaches are arriving for Wayne. Likewise, a laser. We have 2 spine crawlers on the way. One at the third, one at the natural. A laser taking this very seriously. He knows how far ahead he is. He knows all he has to do is survive. Defend, and then he'll be ahead. Or he is ahead. And we're just pointing out here, the spine crawlers are in production. Wayne, he sees the defensive line. He backs off. A very mature decision, but a tough pill to swallow here for Wayne. Because he knows that he's behind in the worker count. He has to try to catch up. He also knows that he invested into all these roaches and it hasn't really paid off. Wise, oh, like really crisp move here from a laser. He saw the army turn back, so he cancels all the spine crawlers. A laser, he saves his resources, cancels the spines, gets the refund, and doubles down on droning. A laser saturating his third. We do have a couple of Bailings waddling into that third base. Oh no! They're trying to get in, and it looks like we may have an observer lagging out of the game there. So it looks like we have a little bit of latency issues going on. Ooh, and we do need a moment to resolve them. This is not the time, though. Again, Wayne, he was just in the middle of waddling in with 2 Bailings, waddling into that mineral line. He was on the way. Not like this. But yeah, we are just looking to resolve this, whether it comes to reconnecting the observer or removing the observer. I believe there are 2 observers in the game, which is why sometimes I have picture-in-picture. So we should be able to get back into it. Oh. But yeah, really tense moment. To wind it back a little bit for some greater context of what's going on, right now, again, Laser does have the economic lead. Both players are working towards Roach Ravager, no longer Ling Bane. There's a lot of pressure on Wayne at the moment to try to kill some workers, though, and that's why a lot of emphasis is being put on those 2 Bailings that are just now waddling into that mineral line. It does look like the Queen is DPSing them down, though, and I don't know if we're going to get the best connections there. And again, the Laser is just looking to saturate his third and just max out on roaches. That's kind of where both players are progressing at the moment. I'm not quite sure when it comes to Evo Chamber upgrades. I wasn't able to get a glimpse on that, whether anyone has a big advantage on that or not. That could be impactful as well, as the game is going to be settling down and the players are just going to be amassing roaches. Otherwise, we're just chilling to the music. Chilling to the music, papi. It's arguably too chill. Arguably. But yeah, for everyone that's tuning in again, I hope everyone's enjoying themselves. Hope everyone is enjoying WTL. We do cast it every single week, every single edition overall team league here on the CranKy Ducklings. I did notice that I think some of the other community casters aren't casting today. Hope everything's okay, but they may be tired because I mean we were all casting IM Katowice yesterday, but they may be tired or maybe they have something else going on. But I believe typically Wardy and Rotterdam are also casting in English, but I believe yeah, they're elsewhere at the moment. They could also be traveling. I know DreamHack Atlanta is next week. So I don't know when people are traveling for that. Because this year, the casters are going to be casting offline. They're going to be there at the event. And it was very contentious and it was very it wasn't good. It was it was scandalous. This is a word that I'm looking for, but yeah, last year, the casters were actually covering the event from the ESL studio. I think it was in Sweden or in a different studio in Europe. Essentially, they weren't actually at the event live, which yeah, was a little bit lackluster. It did take a little bit of excitement out of it, but it did take a little bit of excitement out of the broadcast and out of the feeling of DreamHack Atlanta last year. But this year, we do have confirmation that they will be there at the event. But that also means that a lot of those casters, they're going to be traveling soon. They're going to be flying over. And yeah, that's something to bear in mind. Woke up at 4 a.m. Time to watch some WTL. The passion, Bobby, the passion. But he sounded like he wanted some time off. Yeah, it makes sense, especially if they're going to be traveling soon. And, you know, the plane ride from Europe to the Americas is a little bit of a longer one, so it does make sense if they want to take some time off in preparation for DreamHack Atlanta, which is next weekend. It's less than a week from now. Less than a week. As it looks like we're going to be resuming from replay. It looks like the Observer did lag out, and we're going to have to try to remake and recover the game from replay. Which is brutal. It's brutal just because like that was a very very specific moment that is gonna have to be replayed, and oh boy. Again, we'll see if Alaze is gonna be able to react in time, and we're gonna be able to get into the rest of the ZVZ. And as we get into the rest of the ZVZ, a big shout out to Papi. A big shout out to the Polish Protoss player Iba Kappa, Papi Kappa. I did see that you were main racing earlier. You were laddering, streaming. Hope you had a good time. Hope you had a good ladder session. Hope you enjoyed yourself. For those that are tuning in, welcome to World Team League. And here we go. We are diving back in. Getting back into our game. And it looks like we may have missed a little bit actually. Because things have progressed. We have a Spire on the way for Wayne. He's droning up. He's taking all of his gases. Likewise, a laser also working towards his towards his lair as well. Aggression has subsided. A laser still has a worker lead. Lair is on the way. Papi, ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, Lorimbo, papi? Oh, it's good to see you. Good to see you. I mean, I say it's good to see you, mate. Where were you for the IM Katowice qualifiers? I didn't see you on the bracket. Maybe I'm blind. I didn't see Lorimbo in the bracket. Shaking my head. As things are going to be coming in for a bit of harass. It looks like 3 workers are going to be targeted down. Nice pickups from Wayne. Very necessary pickups. Just because of the early game earlier. The early game previously. Behind this, mutas are on the way. A laser blindly going into his Hydra Den. I mean, he may have seen the gases, may be able to piece together what exactly is going on. Very fortunate here to be working towards those Hydras. To have that anti-air ready. Meanwhile, Overseer Scott's going to be coming in from Wayne. He's going to get eyes on the tech, on the Hydra Den as well. He's going to know not to commit too hard to these mutas. Going to be aware that anti-air is in production. Lings go for their own counterattack. Mutas have been revealed to the Lings. So now Laser has confirmation. And we're going to be focusing on killing Overlords at this point. The bailing drops! No! Massive connections. 14 drones go down. Basically the entire mineral line. Ay, ay, ay. A Laser already had an economic lead, and now it's going to be even greater here. That's 14 dead workers. Mutas, they will gain map control. They do shut down the Overlords at least. They can even threaten some of these drones. But the Hydras are in production. And Wayne is doubling down. Roaches are amassing for both players. Very important here that Laser isn't neglecting his own Roach army. They do clash. Again, 1-1 is done for both players. Laser is working on +2, working on Hydra speed. He will soon have an upgrade advantage. Meanwhile, Wayne is not redroning. Bear that in mind. He lost all those workers at his third, and he hasn't replaced them. Still at sub 3 base saturation. Mutas, they get behind the middle line. 1 meter, 2 meters go down. Not like this. The Hydra Den stands strong. But Wayne, catching a Laser a little bit out of position, going for the hatchery. He will get a kill on that base. Gonna be backing up. Or even supply blocking a Laser. The Laser Lords. As Wayne is gonna back off, he's gonna pivot away, rotate around, head towards another base. Mutas are still being active. Contamination on the Hydrogen. Let's go. Delaying Hydra speed for that much longer. But there's going to be a window. There's going to be a timing here where Laser has +2, his opponent does not. From here, we can also tech up into Lurkers. Laser, for now, contend with Hydra Roach. Does meet up with the movement. Does keep up with the movement. But that's a lot of Roaches. And Wayne, he's sending it. Again, Wayne, he is up in army supply. Forcing his way up the ramp in towards that 4th base. Oh, we do have the concave, though. Files are going to be connecting. Decent connections, but Wayne, he's just bleeding out a little bit too much. Being forced back. Yeah, losing 26 Roaches there in that exchange. And the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for a Laser. He's catching some Overlords. No! Bit of a misrally. Overlords, they wander into their deaths. +2, finishing up here for a Laser. And still a ways away for Wayne. Again, we can't attack now, not here. Laser trying to set up a surround. Coming in from behind. It's going to be spotted by Wayne. Does see with his Overlords. He does get supply blocked. Meanwhile, these Mutas, quite a nuisance here for a Laser. Still wreaking havoc. Getting a couple of drones here and there. Getting 2 workers. 3 drones even. +2 still on the way for Wayne. Meanwhile, Laser, he has a free supply to just go across the map, go for a big counterattack. And he does hit the 5th. Hit the 4th even. 4th base of Wayne. Actually, he leaves it alone. He's going straight for the worker count instead. He's going for the mineral line. He ignores the hatchery, goes for the drones. And workers are getting picked off. Wayne was already down in the economy earlier, and alas, even more so now. This forces back the entire army of Wayne, and now a Laser can push. Catching more Overlords in the center of the map. Can't quite push up the ramp, but again, he's looking to supply block his opponent. Oh, the Roaches are still not dealt with. No! 10 workers going down. It's a numbers game at this point. Wayne, he just doesn't have enough. He can't protect his ramps. He can't defend all these entry points, and it looks like we are getting up the ramp. We're closing in on this 3rd base. From all sides, from all angles, Papi. Aye, aye, aye. Wayne does have the defender's advantage. He's trickling in with a couple more Roaches. It looks like he may be barely holding on, but here come the reinforcements of a Laser. As Wayne barely does hold. But for how much longer? And there it is. GG gets called, and a Laser will take the series 2-0, securing the win here for Team Liquid. GG. GG, well played. Unfortunate that there were a little bit of technical issues in this best of 2, which may have affected the mindset of some of our players, but regardless, really solid play there out of a Laser. Again, both players were kind of keeping up with each other, but Laser every now and then would just be able to slip in or sneak in and deal some economic damage, whether it's with the Bane Dropper Lords, the Roach counterattacks, the Ling Bane. Laser was able to get ahead in that way and kind of force the aggression and force the commitment out of Wayne. GG. GG, well played. With that, we have one best of 2 left. Now, on the one hand, it's a best of 7, and Team Liquid, they will win this series. Don't get me wrong, they will win. But we will still play out Clan versus Nice. There's a little bit less on the line, but the map scores can affect overall standings for both Team Liquid and SLT and Starlight Twinkle. So there is still, again, something to be fought for, and something on the line here for both these players. And we'll see how this does conclude. Clem, the best Terran player in Europe, but we have seen Clem fall to Protoss players before. You know, we've seen a Firefly take him down. We've seen Jeshi take him down. They've done it before. Can Nice keep up with them? Can he also do the same and take some maps, even take a 2-0 off of Clem? I wouldn't say impossible. Unlikely, but not impossible. So we'll see. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we'll have our final best of 2 of this Team League match. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that break. Hope you took a moment to get some water, get some snacks, because we have returned with our final best of 2 here between Team Liquid and Starlight Twinkle. It's been a rough series here for the Twinkles, for Starlight, but we are here to fight back, to put a point on the board. We have returned with Clem versus Nice. And here we go in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have the French Terran player. It is Clem for Team Liquid. And in the bottom right, we have his opponent. We have the Taiwanese Protoss. Nice for Starlight Twinkle. Here we go. The TVPs are upon us. And on the one hand, you could argue that maybe there's a little bit less pressure on Nice because his series here won't necessarily influence the overall kind of the overall outcome of whether or not his team can make it through or not. So now Nice, he can play with a little bit less pressure on him. Play to his heart's content, and I want to believe that he can make Clem work for it. I do want to believe. But here we go. Clem is still coming in as the favorite player. Was, of course, playing all of last night in the IEM Katowice qualifiers. We didn't get to cast Clem last night. We were following other players like Diego and Classic and some of these other players instead. But regardless, Clem, he did qualify for IEM Katowice. So he had a very successful night last night, and we'll see if he can continue that success here against Nice. We shall see. For now, though, we're getting into our openers. Nice going for the Gate Cyber Expand. Very standard opener here from our Protoss player. Likewise, Clem back at home. It looks like he's going for a Rax Expand as well. Has taken a single gas geyser. Hasn't gone for the second gas in his main. So very economic opener from our Terran. Important to point out, just because double gas openers have risen a little bit in popularity recently, just because of just because of how aggressive you can be with the new Cyclone and how assertive you can be. We've seen the rise in popularity of these like double factory one base all-ins, but alas, we see that is not the case here for Clem, not yet at least. It's the best of 2. Plenty of games are ahead of us. But now SV comes in, confirms the timing of the Nexus, and gets the hell out of there. As Clem is getting into his opener. Reaper's on the way. We've yet to determine the tech of choice for Nice. And there it is, thrown down behind the middle line. It is going to be a Stargate, not a Twilight Council. Okay. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. We do have the Reaper patrolling outside the Natural. Ooh, does spot the Adept moving out, which means we can move in. CranKy dips into the main base. Adept is out of position, which means we get a full scout. We do get eyes on the Stargate. Clem sees everything he needs to. There's a shield battery, which means he can't really kill any workers, but at least we do confirm what is happening. Meanwhile, the Adept does get across the map, but the CC finishes up just in time. CC is complete. We cannot delay. We cannot deny. The Adept tries to get a bit of extra scouting information. We commit to the shade, which means we see the factory behind this. Very important scouts. Confirming that it's not something crazy like a 3-rack, for example. That there is that factory. Oh, as it looks like the Adept is gonna be hunted down by the Reaper. Ay, ay, ay. Nice pick off from Clem. Very nice trade. Behind this, he's getting into a 1-1-1. Cyclone production has commenced. We're getting to a starport as well. I don't believe we're going for an add-on swap. With this, we can go for a fast medevac and go for some drop play across the map. And there it is. There's the medevac. And here comes the drop play. So again, we have seen a lot of Terran players in recent times be very aggressive with their Cyclones. There's a lot of potential for damage. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Stargate opener into... Oh, no shot! We force the activation of the Pulsar Beam. We waste a lot of energy here. It looks like we will get a kill on the Hellion. That is a lot of energy wasted. And again, we are going to be needing that because the Cyclone's going to be on the way. I was about to say that, again, Cyclone openers, like, they do so well against things like Oracles and Phoenixes. And we did, of course, confirm the Oracle opener. We catch it! No! No shot! The Oracle gets shut down. Only killed a Hellion. Does get the Revelation off, but that is a big pick off. And now Clem, he's moving out across the map. Meanwhile, Nice back at home. It was a Stargate opener, Oracle first into Blink. This is brutal. This is going to be a very delayed Blink. It means that he's stuck with vanilla units. He doesn't have any Phoenixes. Doesn't really have much of a presence here on the map. He has 3 vanilla Stalkers. We'll see if he can hold. We'll see if Nice can survive here. As the army rocks up. Interesting. Instead of committing to a frontal assault, Clem going for a drop into the main. He's going to try to pull apart the attention of Nice. He's got Cyclones to threaten the third base. Drop into the main. And Nice has 5 Stalkers to defend. And he has to split them up. He does have to split them up, so the drop does come in. We go for the mineral line. Boys, they're being pulled. We're focusing on the shield battery. Shield battery is going to go down. No overcharge either. The Stalkers, they all come into the main, which means the throat is exposed. Workers are going down. Shield battery is going to be falling. Oh, and Nice is being pulled apart. He does end up losing one of those Stalkers. Blink, not quite done. The medevac does escape. Recalling down to the third. I'm loving the use of recall here. To try to hold on, minimize his losses. He will get on top of these Cyclones. Both Cyclones are going to go down. At the same time, we get a drop into the natural, and the Liberator rocks up as well. We have the Freedom. And we liberate 10 of those probes. 11, 12, 13. That's already too much at this point. 13. Oh my god, even more here in the main. As we're not done, 3 Marines is all that we had left. We get 18 worker kills in total. An insane amount of economic damage. Not just that, but also killing some of the Stalkers, the shield batteries, the pylons. Clem backs off. He's going to be consolidating his army. He's not all in behind this. He's working on a 3rd CC. Stim, combat shields +1. The pressure is now on Nice. Now, he does have Blink. Bear that in mind. He does have Blink. And if he gets high ground vision, he can maybe try to dive into the main. But that's a big if. As the Stalkers do rock up. Bunker is done. We do pick off a couple of Marines. Stim isn't done, by the way, so it's a little bit difficult for Clem to commit. Adept does commit to the Shade. Does get blocked. The Adept goes down, and Clem's going to be holding. Does lose on Marauder. Good pick off here from Nice. Good blinks as well, not losing anything. He's trading as best he can with what he has. But alas, with the arrival of this tank, this natural base is under no threat. And Nice is just trying to just probe up as best he can, making 3 workers at a time. Oof. Losing a Stalker there to the tank. Behind this, we can see that Nice is trying to get into some splash damage. We have a Robotics Bay on the way, just now started, to get into Colossus or Disruptors. I imagine Colossi. But the reality is that Clem is going to be pushing before the first Colossus arrives. This is going to be a tough hold for Nice. We have Stim, we have Combat Shields. +1 attack is going to finish up just in time for the attack. Liberator arrives, takes down a Stalker. Oh, every Stalker does count. Because Concussive Shell also going to finish up in time for this assault as well. The tanks, they are going to be sieging, getting within range of the wall. Again, the Robotics may just finish up. We still don't have a Colossus. Without it, we only have these Blink Stalkers to do properly overcharge. Overcharge doing what it can. We do pull back the tanks, and the Stalkers are going down one after the other. GG gets called, and Clem snowballs out of control, taking game number 1. Oh, he's drinking coffee. Oh. Let's go. GG, well played. A very solid game there out of Clem, and just a couple of missteps and a couple of mistakes there early on from Nice. Losing the first Oracle was pretty huge. He would have had a much easier defense, or just a slightly better time holding on against his aggression if he had been able to preserve that. Likewise, Clem achieved so much with that aggression. Remember, it was 2 Cyclones, a Reaper, and 1 Medevac full of Marines, and he dealt an insane amount of damage with that. Did so much, achieved so much, and from that moment, he was ahead. He was in the driver's seat. Nice was playing catch up, and now we're getting into game number 2. And this shouldn't really be a surprise to too many people. It is Nice's map of choice. There are no vetoes in this format, and Radizet Station is chosen. Let's go. We wouldn't see it otherwise, as Radizet Station is notorious for its features and notorious for its advantages and disadvantages. We get very unique games. Very unique games are held here on Radizet Station, which is what I love about it. Fun fact, if you weren't here yesterday, I highly recommend checking out the VODs. We casted Hearthstone versus Maru, and Maru went mass BC against Hearthstone going Skytoss. On this map, it was beautiful. As we get into this, in the bottom left, we have Clem. In the top right for Starlight Twinkle, it is Nice. Let's go. Game number 2. But again, last night in WTL, we casted Shopify Rebellion versus Onside, and I believe it was Hearthstone's map of choice, and he chose Radizet Station, and we had a wild game on this map. Again, just Maru just taking full advantage of it, just embracing the nonsense that is Radizet Station, just embracing it full-heartedly and going into triple BC production. And it was, yeah, it was something, a sight to behold, is what I should say. A very unique game, something that we don't get to see too often. So I do recommend the VOD. It was beautiful, it was crazy. Everything you want in a Terran versus Protoss. And it's a lot to live up to. It's a lot to live up to. We'll see if Nice versus Clem can do so. And what I mean by that is I'm curious how Nice approaches this. This is his map of choice. We have seen Nice rush into Skytoss on this map before. I think he did it against Serral when Starlight played against Basilisk a couple of weeks ago. To be fair, that's a different matchup. To be fair, rushing into Skytoss against Zerg is a lot more commonplace. But we'll see if we get that here against Clem. Likewise, I'm curious if Clem embraces the economy or the amount of corners that you can cut on this map, or if he goes all in. I mentioned this yesterday, but essentially on Radizet Station, you can do one of two things. You can be extremely greedy or extremely aggressive to try to catch the opponent that's being greedy and punish the greed. So one of two ways, two extremes basically on Radizet Station. For now, it's going to be a Rax Expand out of Clem, standard economic opener. We can see Nice already working on those middle patches, looking to take a fast third Nexus, as he did go for a Gate Cyber Expand. And we have our tech of choice. It is going to be the Stargate. The first step to Skytoss. I'm all for it. I am all for it. I see the chat. I like how someone else noticed what I noticed as well. Is that a mustache? Earlier, we've been getting some close-ups of Clem, and I did notice that Clem has been growing out his facial hair. I don't know if you noticed, not just his mustache, but also his beard. Like there's a little bit of facial hair underneath his chin. A little bit. You can, if you squint, you can see it. Clem, he's growing up, Pop. He's growing up. No longer a boy, turning into a man. Ah. It's beautiful. Oh my god. I think Clem, I think he can pull off a mustache. Like give it a couple of years, he can pull it off, 100%. For now though, we can see Clem is going for a 1-1-1 proxy starport. This is a good way to abuse some of the features of this map. There is a pocket base, of course, and it's quite difficult to actually have eyes on it. So Clem, I imagine, is going to be going for a Hellion drop into the bases of Nice. We mentioned this before, but it takes 3 Hellions to one-shot a worker. And we're going to be moving out with 4. We're going to be joining up with that proxy, with that medevac, with that Stargate opener. It's going to be a Phoenix. We do have a spotter pylon in the pocket base, but it's not going to be enough. And Nice did not check this Onaga. He doesn't know what's coming. He doesn't know what's coming in. As the Hellions have now been revealed. There is a shield battery. There are some adepts in position. Phoenixes do arrive. Hot pickup though, saving all of those Hellions. And we're going straight for the main base. But no, we do pivot away. We pivot to the low ground. The adepts out of position. We get into the mineral line once again. Can we get any more workers? Oh, as we do have a bit of latency. No! As is the clean feed, it's struggling. Clean feed is going to be struggling a little bit. But it looks like the Hellions, for the most part, should be cleaned up. I mean, we have a defensive Oracle as well. We have Adepts about to join in as well. Jump on this. And we should shut this down. Oh. As it looks like we should be coming back. Yeah, there we go. So it looks like we missed out on, looks like we did miss out on like 30 seconds or so, and quickly trying to keep up here. It looks like some workers did go down. Clem does have a worker lead. There it is, 2 perps. Okay, 2 workers. Looks like the Hellion and the medevac were shut down. So Nice dealt with it quite nicely. No pun intended, but he did clean up the army, cleaned up the drop, minimize his losses, and Nice is looking to get away with that 3rd. Looking to get away with that 3rd base. Again, I do apologize for some of the stuttering that's been going on here. We do cost from a clean feed that is provided, and we can't really do much about it if there are some technical issues. What I will say is that this is going to be the last game of this series, and if the buffering does continue, we will be getting into the lobbies of the next one, of the next series. Just as a heads up. Just a heads up. As it looks like we're just going to be easing our way into this game. 3rd base is being taken by Clem at the pocket location. Did work into an abundance of Cyclones just to be defensive initially against all the Phoenixes and Oracles. We're not massing Cyclone or going mech or anything crazy like that. Just enough for defense. Just enough for map control. Again, Cyclones do have their place in the early game, in the early to mid game of TVP. So they are in position as we're getting into our bio production. But the aggression has subsided. The aggression has subsided. Clem is getting up to his 3 base economy. So is Nice. Again, we haven't really lost too much. And Nice is working towards Phoenix Colossus, which shouldn't really be too much of a surprise. Robotics Bay is on the way for eventual Colossus production. Phoenixes, they gain map control, shutting down any kind of drop play or aggression. And Nice can play out his game. He can settle into the mid game and go toe-to-toe with Clem while having a good economy. Scan into the main is going to reveal, of course, that we do have the Robotics Bay. Should be seeing that soon. But the scan should be revealing the tech of choice here of Nice. So Clem's going to have a better idea of what's been going on. There it is, there's that scan. From here, the Phoenix is going to be sharking around outside that natural. Looking for a way in, looking for some worker kills. Alas, there's a missile tower in position. They get 1 SCV, but only 1. Only 1, as Phoenix is going to be shocking around. There are some Widow Mines in position. Oh my god. There are some Widow Mines in position. And Nice has to be very careful there when it comes to his movements. as he does pull back just in time. Again, thankfully he has an observer in position as well as an oracle for revelation. Yeah, he will pick up those Wind Mines. He will shut them down before retreating. Colossus production is underway. Likewise, Clem is getting into his own bio production. 1-1. Stim, combat shields is all done. +2 now on the horizon. Just building up his bio army. Again, I apologize for... It's okay. We've casted slideshows before. It's fine. It's fine, Bobby. Don't worry about it. I do apologize, and there isn't really much we can do to alleviate some of those buffering issues. But for now, the Phoenixes do rotate back into the pocket base. They get a couple more SCVs. Thankfully, this isn't affecting the players. The players are playing to their heart's content. It is just the clean feeds connection. And it isn't just us. We're being notified that we have the French casters that are also covering this that have also been experiencing the same issues. As we are all casting from the same feed. But from here, Phoenix is once again poking, and we do have a Viking production underway. Ghost Academy gets thrown down from Clem, so he's going bio Viking into Ghost. A pretty solid composition here against what he's up against. The Vikings, they can help deal with not just the Phoenixes, but also the Colossi as well. Oh, do you see what I see, though? As that's not just a second Robo in production. That is +1 air attack on the way. We're going to be committing a little bit harder with not just +1 air attack, but that is a second Stargate just now starting up as well. Nice. He's thinking about Skytos. He's thinking about it. We're not there yet, but it's on the horizon. We'll keep an eye on whether or not a fleet beacon gets thrown down to get into Tempest or Carriers. That is going to be a big possibility here for Nice, especially now that he's getting up to 4 base economy. His 4th base is slowly getting up and running. There, it's slowly getting up and running here, and there it is. If you can see on the production tab, that is a fleet beacon on the way. So Nice is working on Skytos. Do love to see it. He still needs to get his 4th operational though, and there is a window. There is going to be a window here where Nice is going to be vulnerable to Clem, because Clem is soon going to push out. He's just waiting for 2-2 to finish up. And then we should be pushing. This entire time has been contained. Because of all these Phoenixes, because of the control that Nice has, Clem has been stuck at home outside of the early game. But he's been building up his forces and will soon push out. Now, he is still unaware as to what's happening. He doesn't know about the Skytoss transition. He doesn't know that right now Nice is vulnerable. But regardless, he should soon be pushing. As we have a 4th CC on the way. Again, the latency there a little bit. Oh, as we jump forward in time. Looks like we jumped forward a couple of minutes here, actually. As we were talking about, oh, the Skytoss is coming. The Skytoss is here. We have Carriers already out for Nice. Clem on 4 bases. Nice, working on his 5th even. I think we jumped forward like 2 minutes or something. But yeah, it looks like the stream just suddenly, the feed, sorry, suddenly caught up after all that buffering. So it looks like Clem did push out, but Nice was able to get into his Carriers just in time. He's got Disruptors to support. Clem looking for a way in. Good EMP. Good EMP going to be kiting back here against the Skytoss, against the Colossi as well. Pretty good shots going to be going off. Phoenixes are going to be, they are going to be going down as well. But we will chase this back. Again, the kiting from Clem avoiding any of those carrier shots or the interceptors. Never goes off, taking down one of those ghosts. Oh. As we are going to be spitting off a massive Doom Drop to go straight into the main base. There are Stalkers in position, the Phoenixes as well. No! And 1 full medevac is going to go down. Big pick off there. From Nice. Nice has maxed out. Clem still building up his Viking count. He's got 2 more starports on the way. What I will say, though, thankfully, is it looks like the latency issues have cleared up. Ah, so smooth sailings for now. I just jinxed it. But we did see 2 more Stargates on the way. A 3rd Robo as well from Nice. Both players just building up their productions to be able to remax and rebuild very quickly as soon as the fight goes either way. As soon as the fight does occur. But again, Clemmy's got so many Vikings. How many is that? That's like what? Over 20, 100%. Jesus. Meanwhile, he's just working on +3 ship weapons, a Neo Steel frame, high-sec auto tracking. Likewise, nice working on additional forges to get into all those upgrades, shield upgrades more importantly, to help affect his Sky Toss. Looks like we are on 6 carriers. No Tempest. I mean, Tempest I don't think are very necessary at the moment. Especially against all these Vikings. Let's here we go. We're diving on in. Stalker is putting in a lot of work on those Vikings. Likewise, they do focus down some of those Phoenixes. And rotating back around. It does get a Colossus. Does get 2. Every single Colossus goes down. Big pickoffs. Novas go off, but they do not connect. Again, we do need to replace those Colossi with Disruptors. We only have 3. Only 3. Nova goes off. Oh! Takes down the Cyclone. Not bad. As we're going to be committing carriers, they're going to start falling. Expensive losses for Nice. Fan pushing forward, and Nova does zone away the ground army, and now the Vikings are being annihilated. Oh my god, so many Vikings go down. A very nice trade from Nice. He did lose 2 carriers in the process, but he killed 34 Vikings. Oh my god. That was a lot of Vikings. That was a lot. And Clem is rebuilding, remaxing 8 Vikings at a time. This time, though, +2 vehicle armor is going to be done. +3 ship weapons still on the way. So he doesn't have the most ideal Vikings yet, but he's getting there. He has, of course, Vikings as his main army. He should have Ghosts and, of course, a Bioforce to support on the ground. For those EMPs. Liberator range on the way to help deal and zone away with the ground army of Nice. Oof. As these Stalkers, they do have to be very careful. Templar Archives just now on the way. I'm surprised that the Templar Archives just finished. I was going to say earlier that I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't really have too many Archons, but yeah, we're going to be working on that. We do kite against some of those Phoenixes, bleeding out quite a lot of them, actually. 3 Phoenixes go down. They do get 1 shot. Clem backing off. Again, both players have maxed. The Zealot run by running into the army. A little bit unfortunate. There it is. Storm is on the way. Storm has potential. I say potential because obviously EMPs counteract Storms, as Clem is trying to take the gold. So what, 1 Zealot denying mining. But Clem, he does have the better economy. He has the gold, he has mules. Up in bases, up 1 base compared to Nice. On 7 compared to 6 of the Protoss. We're pushing in once again. Clem is maxed out, his upgrades are done. On +3 ship weapons, working on +3 vehicle armor. And there we go, we're committing, and the carriers are going to go down one after the other. Too many Vikings. The Storms, they're just too late. 1 carrier survives, and we barely lose any Vikings this time. And Nice core with his pants down, and after losing that army, now we can push in. We can push forward. I was going to try to go up here. They're going for the Ghosts. Oh, not quite. Ghosts, they do pull back in time. Yeah, these Novas, they don't connect, and soon we can just dive. Yeah, the Nexus is going to fall. Very slow, very meticulous play there from Clem. Takes down the mineral line. And Nice has to give it up. Does have to give it up. As Vikings are pushing forward, there aren't enough Stalkers. Yeah, we can just focus down the carriers one after the other. From here, Nice gonna have to transition to ground toss, and Mortals are on the way. But the Vikings, they can land. They can shoot down, kind of. They can shoot straight ahead. As the Liberators have arrived, we have freedom. The freedom is here. Storms aren't looking too bad, but here come the Vikings. They're waddling in. Look to the east of the Vikings. They have arrived. We have reinforcing carriers, but there are just too many Vikings here. They shut them down one after the other. Bullying back the Sky Toss. Well, Sky Toss is good, but what about Sky Terran? That's better. As we have the Vikings, we have the Liberators as well. 1 carrier left, 0 carriers remaining. And the ground army cannot touch this, not with this much freedom. Not with this many liberation zones. From here, the Vikings land, they can have their way with a base. We are making 4 carriers at a time, but that pales in comparison to how many Vikings we're making behind this. Oh my god. Stalkers try to blink on forward. They try. But fighting in these zones is brutal, and the ground army is just getting bullied back. Oh my god, so many Stalkers go down. Here come the reinforcements. We have the overcharge, but this Nexus should go down. We have 4 carriers on the way, but they're still in production. And GG is going to get caught. Clem breaks him, and Clem will take the 2-0, and we get the 6-0 win for Team Liquid. GG, well played. But a big shout out to Nice, again, taking advantage of the map. Radisson Station is known for its late game play. It's known for, again, Sky Terran versus Sky Protoss. This wasn't as fancy as what Maru did yesterday, with Maru going into BCs, but Clem did very well for himself nonetheless. There were some opportunities here for Nice where he was able to win a fight earlier, if you remember, when he reset the Viking count. That was very impressive. But after that, he was neglecting his Stalkers. He was neglecting his ground support. Did have late Storm. The Storm wasn't there in time. And at one point, once the carrier count got reset, we were never able to get it up and running. GG, well played. And with that wraps up Team Liquid versus Starlight Twinkle. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we have our final best of 7 of the night. It's going to be Mystery Gaming versus Kwang Dong Freaks. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We just wrapped up with Team Liquid versus almost said the Starving Camels versus Starlight Twinkle, but now we have returned with our second matchup of the night. Our second match of WTL World Team League 2023 Winter Round 10, day number 2. We are here with Mystery Gaming versus the Kwangdong Freaks. And the last series was a little bit one-sided. It was a 6-0, a bit one-sided. But this should be a lot closer. At least I'm hoping so, as we do have these two big teams facing off. But the Kwangdong Freaks, they have been struggling. They have been struggling quite a lot this season. They are currently in second last place. And Mystery Gaming, I believe they do have a chance to make it into the playoff bracket, depending on their performances, depending on how they do advance or how these matches do progress for them. Oh boy. We'll see how this does turn out. Again, the Kwangdong Freaks, they do have a team of veteran players. Some big names like TY, Stats, Armani, Su, Keen, Alive. Really big names on the Kwangdong Freaks. But I should also emphasize, it sounds a little bit harsh, but it's also true. They are a team of part-timers. They are part-time pro gamers. They, for the most part, have their own careers, their own IRL jobs, and their own things going on, and they don't dedicate as much time to the game as they used to. Very similar to the Starving Camels, even, in a way. But here we go. We're getting into our first matchup. And in the top right-hand corner, we have Shin for Mystery Gaming. And in the bottom left, we have his opponent. We have, for the Kwangdong Freaks, Keen. Who? I see the who on top. Commander Keen, he is back. He is the captain for the Kwangdong Freaks. And of course, it's his job to kind of rally the team together, to bring them all behind his banner. And we do have a big shout out to the sponsors of WTL, World Team League. Shout out to Doyu, Honkai Star, Taido, and Oreful. Without our lovely sponsors, this event would not happen. And what's interesting to me is we have seen a lot of people pop in and they hear the music. They're like, wait, is that like the Honkai Star OST? Is that what we play that? Let's go. Yeah, it's cool, I guess, that Honkai Star, they do sponsor the event. I believe it's a gacha game. It's similar to Genshin Impact. I think it's an anime-based MMO. So yeah, that's a thing. They support StarCraft. Much love. Much love. As we're easing into this, and we have a pretty interesting opener. To quickly catch up, Shin did go for a 15-15, went for a 15 hatch into a 15 spawning pool. Shin has been very fond of this. He's been very fond of this opener. Also, I should very quickly reiterate, especially if maybe you haven't been tuning into many WTL matches, if you are unfamiliar with who Shin is, you're like, Shin? Is that like a new player? Is that instant new ramen? Is that Shin is Ragnarok. You should be familiar with Ragnarok. Again, a very powerful Zerg player in Korea, one of the best in Korea. He, of course, name changed to Shin. Shin is actually a part of his IRL name, less so his gamer ID. So I think he just wanted to change his name and, identify a little bit more with his actual IRL name instead of his foreign persona. I added just had a bit of a name change, bit of an identity crisis, but it's all good. It's all good. And yeah, Shin is going to be coming in as the heavy favorite. I would say that Shin is the ace player of Mystery Gaming. When it comes to the strongest players on Kwangdong Freaks, I think I would go as far as to say Stats. I think Stats is the strongest. At the start of the season, I would have said Su. I would have said Su and TY. But currently, I do think that Stats is in slightly better form than both Su and TY. So yeah, he's definitely someone to keep your eye on. Did recently qualify for IM Katowice a couple of days ago in the Asia closed qualifier. We did cast Stats, and Stats was able to pop off and yeah, make it in. Really cool stuff. Really cool to see Stats make it to Poland and make it to Katowice in the coming months. But for now, we're easing into this. And to wind it back a little bit, when it comes to the opener of Shin, Shin has been very fond of the 15-15 in almost every matchup, and he's been very fond of it here. It's kind of a greedy way to open. It does delay your gases. It does delay link speed. You do prioritize on queen defense early on, and you skip lings, basically. With this opener, you skip your lings, you prioritize drone production, and you defend with only queens. And it's a bit of a greedy way to play. It is a little bit greedy, but Shin, for now, is getting away with it. Is getting away with it by skipping those lings and easing into the mid game. Meanwhile, Keen behind this, getting into a Rax Expand, standard opener, in towards a 1-1-1. Interesting. So Keen is going to be very aggressive. Keen is going to be the aggressor. Shin is going to be the defender. Essentially, Keen decided to delay his third CC in favor of the Starport, and we can see why. He's going to be making an abundance of Hellions and Cloak Banshees. So it's going to be on Keen to get economic damage done. He has to kill workers with this, otherwise he's setting himself behind. He is going to be setting himself behind economically by delaying his third even longer. Now with this, of course, Hellions can punish the mineral lines, so can the Banshees. Roach Warren is thrown down. Shin, he is a bit of a Roach boy, similar to Dark, similar to Wayne, where he does opt to go for Roaches more often than not. The Hellions, they go for the dive, but the Ling movement, oh my god! The stutter stepping with the Lings. We shut down the Hellions. They do not make it into the mineral line at all. Trading Lings for Hellions, a good trade here for Shin. Aye, aye, aye. And that was a little bit overzealous from Keen. He's now getting his third CC on location. A greedy maneuver, but a necessary maneuver. The Overlord dips in, gets eyes on the 1-1-1. Shin does see the researching tech lab, so he's ready. He's aware of the potential for Cloak Banshees, and immediately Spore Crawlers are thrown down. He's getting ready for the Banshee play. And he's already dealt with one of the prongs. He's already dealt with he's already dealt with the Hellions, as that is 2 more factories on the way. It's gonna be Mech. Keen, he's embracing his older self. You know what? Keen back in, I want to say back in Wings of Liberty, he would also play Mech as well. I think Mech was always kind of in his repertoire. Not saying he always did it, but you know, would whip it out from time to time. And yeah, it is gonna be Mech here once again. Of course, in your form of Mech. Going to be a very battle mech heavy style, a cyclone heavy style. As we really want to point that out, by the way. We're really zooming in. What I love, though, that was just pointed out, what we were trying to emphasize on, shout out to the Observer, is that Stim was being researched and we canceled it. We of course are still hiding the fact that this is mech and Shin is in the dark. But the fact that Shin is already going into roaches is a big tell. Like, he's already preparing for something like this. It's not going to catch him off guard or won't deal devastating damage. Banshees have arrived. We have Hyperflight Rotors on the way, Banshee speed, and we are continuing Banshee production. So we're going for Banshee mech from Keen. Not the first time we've seen this. TY has done this. I believe Gumiho has done this as well. This was a little bit more popular at the start of the year, going for these kind of, again, Banshee heavy compositions with the change and the buff, the change that was had at the start of the year to those Banshees. Did make them a little bit more viable. And with that, we do see Shin trying to go into Lingbei Muta. Does he see the army, though? The Overlord barely out of range. Sees the 4CC in production, but may have seen some of the Hellions, possibly. Hard to tell. Am I crazy? Did we cancel the Roach Warren earlier? I think we did. Oh, God. I could have sworn we had it in production with the initial Hellion flood, the Hellion dive. And yeah, we canceled it. There we go. Roach Warren just now being rebuilt. Hellions have arrived. Ooh, and is Shin ready for this? He's going for the surround. He does collapse on the army. He gets on top of the Cyclones. The Queens are a little bit behind, but they will join up. They will meet up, and the Cyclone count gets reset. A massive pickoff here from Shin. Completely shuts this down. And once again, Keen committed a little bit too prematurely. He did kill 41 Lings, but trading Lings for Hellions and Cyclones, very worth it. Meanwhile, detection has arrived. Mutas are on the way. Uh-oh, and because the Cyclone count was reset, I think we have like 1 or 2 Cyclones left. We're getting to 5 more factories. We're getting into tank production. We don't actually have that much anti-air. This Muta play, it could just win the game. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I think there's only 2 Cyclones at most on the map right now. We have Banshees, Hellions, tanks. Hellions are in production. We're going into the mineral lines. We go for the scan. That's the only Cyclone. We do have 2 Marines. We're going for the Cyclone. Yeah, GG gets called. The Mutas get revealed, and Shin takes game number 1. Ay, ay, ay. You don't see that too often. It isn't too often when we have the Muta reveal straight into the GG. That was so unfortunate. Keen just had no anti-air, no Cyclones in production. Caught completely off guard. Pants were down, and Shin takes that first game. GG. GG, well played. Unfortunately, Keen just wasn't aware. He wasn't able to scout the Spire, didn't see the Mutas coming out, and that just puts more emphasis on the fact that when Keen lost those Cyclones, really that is when the game ended, because the Cyclone count got reset, and that was the only answer. The only answer for those Mutas would have been those Cyclones if we had preserved them, if we had kept them alive. to buy enough time to get into another wave of reinforcements, and with that, Shin does take a lead. And again, to be fair, Shin is the ace player of Mystery Gaming. He's one of the strongest players on the team. You could make an argument for Bunny as well. I would say that Shin and Bunny are the top two, and I still would say that Shin has had better performances in recent times, but Bunny is no slouch either. Regardless, though, it's going to be an uphill battle here for Keen. And his map of choice, Oceanborn. Let's go. Let us go. First time that Keen is using his glasses? Oh, I did not notice that. He's taking this serious. He can see, Papi. He can see. Oh, beautiful. And here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have Shin for Mystery Gaming. And spawning in the top left, we have his opponent. We have for the Kwangdong Freaks. It is Keen, the commander himself. And just like the previous game, I don't know if you noticed, we did have an extractor trick, and Shin is once again going for the 15-15. It's a 15 hatch into a 15 spawning pool. We did mention it earlier, but the goal here is to skip out on your lings early on, to be a little bit greedy, to defend with queens, and just drone heavily. This does mean that the gases are late, so the gases are a little bit later here for Shin, and this could kill him because Keen is going for a proxy. Let's go. It's a proxy 2 racks in the center of the map. Oh boy, and for now, Shin is in the dark. Now, Overlords are moving out, and there is a chance that those Overlords will scout what's happening. Overlord making its way towards the center. Up! And it looks like we will. Will we? I think we do. I think it's going to be so close. One of us. Up! We do get eyes on the proxy. Ay. That is so unfortunate. Now, this Overlord should be rerouting and confirming whether this is a 2 racks or a 3 racks. As for now, we are still in the dark as to which one it is. Drone is moving out preemptively as well, just to get a read on what's going on. And Shin, knowledge is half the battle, and I mean, he knows that he's being proxied. Drone does confirm the 2 racks, goes up the ramp to look for a third, finds none. So again, it is a 2 racks. Now, a 2 racks opener here, or sorry, a proxy 2 racks is not all in. You can transition out of this, and we're going to be going for some bunkers, but the boys are being pulled, and we are denying the bunkers. We're going to be delaying the bunkers for a little bit longer. We do get a little bit of DPS there on those SCVs. Because it was a pull first, by the way, that means faster queens and faster lings. Oh, that is unfortunate for Keen. Again, the lings are already coming out, and Shin is looking to shut this down. These bunkers, they're not going to finish. There's no shot, no way. Queens are already in production, forcing this army back. And we're even going for the surround. We're committing to the Marines. We do catch 1 Marine, a second, and soon to be a third. There's 1 SCV left, but it's barely alive. We do kill 1 drone. That's a kill, not a cancel. No, that's a kill, not a cancel on the bunker, and there's nothing left here. The lings, they get cleaned. Sorry, the Marines get cleaned up. The SCVs as well. We do have Reapers on the way, and they will be able to micro against these lings. And the game is going to settle from here. Shin is going to be droning. Because of these Reapers, Shin cannot push out. Remember, because of Shin's opener, no gas. 0, or like very limited gas available here for the Zerg player, so no ling speed, still working on that. Still working towards 100 gas. Oh, as he shuts down one of the Reapers. Bit of miscontrol there from Keen. Oof. And Shin is just droning. Just droning up behind this. Keen should be transitioning back at home. He's getting his CC on the high ground. His racks are floating back as well. The Reapers will give him map control, and he's transitioning out of this. But what I will say is that this opener from Keen, even though I did say this isn't all in, and I stand by that, you know, proxy 2 racks is not all in, 3 racks more so. But proxy 2 racks you can transition, but this still had to do more damage. This still had to deal more. This has not been enough. Up! Oh, as we almost catch the Reapers. Behind this, Keen, he's going for a 3rd CC. He's double expanding. Very necessary. Keen, because he didn't really kill too many workers, he needs to try to pivot away from this and transition out, and being hyper greedy and double expanding, that's a way to do it. That is a way to bounce back. Meanwhile, Shin going for 2-base Lair, 2-base Muta. We have options. We can go 2-base Muta. We could maybe go for a Nidus all-in, but I believe we don't have link speed. It's mech again. That's 2 factories on the way. Keen gonna try to pivot out of this into mech. Meanwhile, that is a Roach Warren, so it's not gonna be Mutas, it's gonna be a Roach Rush from Shin. With the lair, he can go into really fast Roach speed and go for a very fast Roach timing here off of 2-base saturation. Meanwhile, we have that Rax there being as annoying as possible, delaying the 3rd base of Shin. As we are finally taking it. Finally getting the hatchery underway. And the problem here is that Keen hasn't scouted. If I'm not mistaken, he hasn't seen the Roach Warren. I don't think he saw the lair, which again is pretty huge, that he's still in the darkest of the tech that's going on. Meanwhile, it is going to be 2-base Roach, but we also go for the Spire as well. You know, ¿por qué no los dos? Why not both? I'm like, is it Spire? Is it Nidus? Is it Roaches? And she's like, yes. He says yes, Papi, as we have Roaches as well as Mutas on the way. Now, I imagine we're only going to be making like 5 to 7 Mutas. That is enough to one-shot SCVs, enough to harass. And the Roaches will be out to defend and eventually to overwhelm the ground army. Overseer comes in. We do get eyes on the mech on the 3 factories. Cyclones are in production. And we're getting into really fast Roach speed. Now that Shin has seen the composition, now that he's aware of the battle mech, where do we go from here? As, oh, that's an armory. Going into fast Hellbats. And also, of course, the upgrades for the mech army. So the armory is on the way. Hellions going for a counterattack. They do slip past the Queen. And then we'll get a drone. They will get one worker. Meanwhile, Shin has had enough. He's pushing across the map. He did invest into the Spire, but is not going into Mutas. I think that's a wise choice, considering the fact that Cyclones are on the way. And Cyclones, they melt Mutas. They just have their way with them, especially in high numbers. Oh, we canceled. Oh, let's go. We canceled the Spire. Okay, after confirming, after seeing the mech, the Spire was canceled. We're committing to Roach Ravager. The wall is being knocked down. And we're looking to break into the natural base. Keen heavily supply block at the same time going for his own Hellion counterattack, but we have reinforcements back at home. Drones are going down, but the Hellions are being cleaned up. We dive into the main base. The boys are being pulled. They're trying to engage. They're trying to surround, but they get caught on the Roaches. And we're down to 2 Cyclones. The tank gets caught. We're down to 1 Cyclone left. And soon to be none. GG gets called, and Shin will take the 2-0. GG. I just realized he has a green screen as well. The streamer, the content creator. GG, well played. Shin will take the 2-0, but that's kind of what we expected. Again, Shin coming in as the ace player of Mystery Gaming up against the captain, the Commander Keen, if you will. Does take the 2-0, but up next, this is going to get spicy. Bunny versus TY in a TVT. And I do think these players are pretty comparable in skill. I do think that they're pretty close. I might give the edge to Bunny. I think maybe Bunny's in slightly better form. Bunny was recently playing in the IM qualifiers for the Asia server and the Europe server as well, and he wasn't doing too bad. And we have seen a little bit less of TY recently. So yeah, this is going to be a close one. And what I will say is that TY's best matchup is TVT as well. So even if Bunny is in slightly better form, I will say that TY, because of his TVT matchup overall, he makes up for that. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good TVT. We're going to be going on a short break. Short break is ahead of us. And then we'll be back with Bunny versus TY. See you soon. Oh, never mind. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. It looks like the players are ready and predictions are about to open up. If you're in the chat, predictions are opening up here between our 2 players. So best of luck here on how you think this will unfold. Ooh. As you can see, our players are getting ready. The fanfares. The fan art behind TY there on that wall from years gone by. And game 1 is going to be on site Delta. And we are just diving on in. No time to rest. No rest for the weekend. And here we go in the top left-hand corner. We have for Mystery Gaming, it is Bunny. And in the bottom right-hand corner for Kwangdong Freaks, it is TY. the sun himself, Taeyang. Vámonos. Here we go. Oh. As we are settling on into this. And again, TY has, been looking good overall here. For those that are curious, TY, he's not really active when it comes to the online tournament scene, but he has been active in GSL. Same with Bunny, actually. It's a pretty interesting dynamic where both Bunny and TY, they haven't been active when it comes to KSLs or ESL Open Cup Asias or any of these online tournaments, but they're always there for every season of GSL, and both TY and Bunny, they typically do have pretty respectable performances and runs in GSL, whether it's season 1, 2, or 3 of this year. I think my most memorable moment is TY versus Classic. I think it was season 1 of this year. TY versus Classic on Altitude, where TY played Mech. TY played Mech against Classic and didn't look bad. Did look pretty damn good against. Beat him, actually. Did beat Classic with Mech. We also saw TY versus Maru in TVT, and it was also pretty impressive. TY also playing Mech against Maru. And as I reminisce about previous series in this year, I do expect TY to play Mech at some point in this TVT. Doesn't have to play it every game, but I expect him to whip it out in game 1 or game 2. Meanwhile, Bunny has been a little bit more versatile. We've been seeing a lot of bio play from him. We've seen some cheese as well. We've seen some proxies. Again, we were fortunate enough to cast Bunny a couple of days ago in the IM Katowice Asia qualifiers. We casted Bunny versus Shin. It was a team kill between the two of them. Did go all the way to the ace match between Bunny and Shin, and it was a damn good series. Damn good between Bunny and Shin. And he also played in the European qualifiers as well. I think Bunny went up against Alator. I could be wrong. I can't quite remember the European qualifier matches. Ooh, as we do pick off an SCV. Nice pick off here from Bunny. Does get the SCV at the natural. Behind this, TY being so greedy. Oh my god. TY. He went Rax expand into a third CC. Punish him. This is illegal. Reaper's going to be going down. SCV as well. And Bunny, he's snowballing out of control. We're diving into the main base. We have nothing left. We have 2 Marines. The target firing. Oh, the Marines, they have to try to keep up here. SCV is going to be going down. That's another kill on the SCV. Looks like 1 Reaper will fall. And Bunny, he is denied the scout. He does not get into the main base. He doesn't get deep enough to actually see the CC. He did kill 2 workers. But he's pivoting around. He's going back in. Oh, but he is denied. TY, he does hide his build. Again, Rax expand into a third CC, into a second Rax. The greed. This looks like a 2-on-1 or even a 3 Rax. Like, Bunny only has a piece of the puzzle. He hasn't seen enough to determine that it is a third CC. But he did see the lack of factory units. So, again, a piece of the puzzle here. Didn't see the lack of second gas. Meanwhile, Bunny behind this, going into his own fast third. Not as fast as his opponent, but in general, going for a third base at this early on is still greedy, still early here for Bunny. So as a result, he's actually not too far behind. We have the scan. We do get eyes on the timing of that third base, as well as the 1-1-1. Meanwhile, Bunny moving out with that drop. Can TY keep up with the harass? Drop coming into the natural. We do have a bunker, we have Marines, but the Cyclones, they drop in, and it doesn't take too long at all to kill SCVs. That's 2 dead workers, 3 dead workers already, and we can go ham on these Marines. The Cyclones, they're putting in some work. Stim is not done. We can just pick up and get the hell out of there. What is that? 5 dead SCVs and 2 dead Marines. I think 3 dead Marines, and even 4. The Reaper gets back in, and Bunny, he's pulling his opponent apart. He gets eyes on the timing of the factory. He sees the third base. Bunny, he's hopping everywhere. It's popping off. Again, really nice play here from our Blue Terran player. TY, specifically because of his build. Like, I don't blame him, but because of his build of choice, he doesn't have Hellions, doesn't have Cyclones, doesn't have Stim. Like, the mobility of TY's army is very low at the moment, which is why he's having a hard time keeping up. He has to try to preemptively be in position with his units, and this time, he's waiting. This time, he does have Marines in the main, thankfully. And Stim is a couple seconds off. Meanwhile, Cyclone drop into that mineral line. Marines, they do respond. Still no Stim. Oh, and they almost do get the medevac. The Cyclone as well, as they do barely escape. They escape towards the natural. More Marines are waiting. TY trying to shut him down. It looks like he will get one Cyclone, both Cyclones. And this was not the best trade. This was Bunny throwing away 2 Cyclones for 2 SCVs. Finally, something goes TY's way. But not enough to like recover from all the losses. This was a good moment for TY, but we need more good moments. we need some more things for TY to catch back up. Behind this, Bunny getting out of hand here with the rest of his production. 3 more Raxes on the way, getting to his stim, getting into his +1. Soon to be landing his 3rd CC. Even though TY had a faster 3rd, he doesn't have map control, so he's stuck on 2 bases. His opponent can expand Auto Tartaras here at the natural, killing 2 more SCVs. And the Raven is coming back in. We're not done. We're not done, as more workers going to be going down. Behind this, Bunny landing his 3rd CC on location, getting it up and running. He is up 10 workers, up in army supply as well. The army has been spotted. Bunny's moving out with another double Cyclone drop. Meanwhile, TY moving out with his own drop play. Stim is done for both players. TY so far unscattered. There is potential. There's potential for damage. The turrets aren't done, but we're not going for the main. We're going for the 3rd. Bold move here from TY. We'll see if he can get away with it. As he does stim in. He does get into the mineral line. SCVs are going to be going down. 4 dead workers. Oh, can we get the Raven? Oh, it does take an anti-armor missile to the face. We pick up, we drop into the main. Trying to cave the production. We do get a couple Marines. Another hot pickup. Oh, barely does avoid those tank shots. And do we go for the tank? Do we go for the mineral line? We're going for some more drones. The medevac's getting very low, though. No! Oh, my... A bit of miscontrol there, TY. He does double back 1 second too soon. Does lose a medevac. Initially, this was good. Initially, this was good damage from TY, but did lose a medevac there. Suddenly, not as worth it. And Bunny, still in the driver's seat, still has an economic lead. TY moving out once again with a double drop now. Even though TY is behind, this drop play has potential to tie it up. Like, if we can get a mineral line, if we can kill 10 workers, catch a tank, catch a medevac, catch a Raven, we can make some magic happen. So we're stimming in again. Drop trying to distract the army, heading towards the natural. Meanwhile, the army stims into the 3rd. We do get 6 more SCVs. As we turn around, we fight with the army, but oh, this is a fight that TY cannot take. He does get 6 workers, but he bleeds out Marines. And I'm worried because, sure, we're getting economic damage, but Bunny is still ahead, and Bunny also has a larger army, and Bunny's now pushing out. He's now committing to a push, and TY has been bleeding out a lot of units. The question becomes, how many tanks? We have 1 tank of the 3rd and a sensor tower. Ooh, this is going to be a tough defense. This is going to be a tough defense for TY. Bunny moving right through the center. He scans. He sees the tank. He sees the army. He has Ravens. Setting up his own siege. He can actually avoid the 3rd and go straight for the natural. He has options. Bunny does have options. Big anti-armor missile once again on these Marines. Yeah, we're just avoiding the tank. Oh, but there's another tank at the natural, actually. TY, he's holding. For now, he is holding on. Bunny, he does back off for a moment. Looks like he's, yeah, getting within range of the natural. Going for a drop. Oh, it does see the turret, does see the tank. TY did reposition. Vikings have arrived. And Bunny, losing a medevac, doesn't find a way in. Oof. TY, though, losing a Viking as well. And what's scary, if you look at the minimap, there's another army. There's another army moving out. There it is. We have a double drop moving out from Bunny. TY's entire attention is focused here on the main forces of Bunny, which means our blue Terran could maybe try to slip into the 3rd or even go into the main. There is potential. We're going for it. Back at home, Bunny's just building up his tank count. Deeper has been, or does spot the army. TY is now aware. Is going to be diverting his attention. There he is. He does rotate over with his Marines. So a good spotter depot. If it wasn't for that depot, then he could have been in some trouble. He's looking for that drop. Does go for the scan. TY sharking around. He's committing, actually. He's committing to his push. Oh, the Marines, they missed the move out. Uh-oh. We do miss the move out, and we could catch a free tank. Oh, we go for it. Tank goes down. Marines as well. Nice pickoffs from TY. I believe there are tanks on the high ground, but no, they've been repositioned. Bunny is out of position. And we go straight for the natural, go straight for the kill move. The CC is going to go down. Big pickoff here from TY. But how much more can he get done? As he's going to boost the hell out of here. He does escape with his Marines. And Bunny, he dragged everything back home. Again, just a brutal moment to unsiege, and also a brutal moment for Bunny to miss the move out. But there is a Viking. Ooh, which means we're shutting down the drops. Oh my god. 3 medevacs go down. Some of them were full. I think 2 of them were full. At the same time, TY scans. He's diving into that third. But Bunny's in position. He's going to force him back. Again, TY, he's still behind. He's still not quite caught up, but that was a good move. To go for the CC, to shut down the natural. Unfortunately, Bunny was in the middle of taking a 4th, and TY is still on 3 bases. As we scan, we see the planetary. TY getting his own 4th on location. TY still catching up. Tanks looking exposed. We dive on in. Big tank volleys going off, though, on the army of Bunny. And can he break through? Oh, he's taking so many tank shots to the face. But we come in from behind. We get on top of the tanks, and Bunny barely has enough. We needed some more Marine reinforcements, and TY just wasn't here in time. He loses every single tank. TY does force back Bunny, but remember, Bunny, he traded Marines for tanks. And he maintains his own tank count. A solid trade from Bunny. TY has to just rebuild his tank count from the beginning, from scratch. 4th base, though, up and running. We do have comparable economies. Again, TY, he's been on the back foot from almost the beginning of the game, but he's catching back up. The gaps in supply, not as big as they once were. Oh, that's the 4th. I was... Sorry, that's the 5th. I was really curious because I saw the Maynard over towards the 5th base. I was like, I'm pretty sure TY did not start a CC. It's like, oh, that makes sense. He's floating his main. Uh-oh. As he floats his main, Bunny, he does see. He's coming in. He does zone back the army, but he shouldn't get a kill on the base. Does get an SCV. Or 2. Does get a couple of workers, but his army's going to be forced back. TY in position. 3-3 on the way. +3 attack already done for TY. Slightly ahead in upgrades. Let's go. At least the bio upgrades. We don't have to talk about vehicle upgrades. Don't worry about it. It's fine. As Bunny's building himself back up. Going to be retreating for now. Down a base, technically. But still even in workers. As he's working on his own 5th. TY even incorporating a couple of those liberators. Going to be relying on that air superiority, on that air control. Vikings on the way. Rocks are being knocked down. Now, Bunny actually went back into Raven production. I was curious. I was like, I don't think he started Interference Matrix. And there it is. Interference Matrix is on the way. The armies are going to be clashing. Ooh, Bunny's the first to siege. Big anti-armor missile as well. And TY, he gets caught off guard. This was not the fight to take. As he does siege up on the high ground, does force back the army. That was a scary moment for TY. As he almost got caught out. But again, Interference Matrix is being resourced, so Bunny is going to be heavily reliant on those Ravens. As he's up to, what, 4, 5 Ravens, soon to be 6. He's making 2 Ravens at a time. As TY pushes towards the 4th. Tanks are in position. Good tank shots. Yeah, very nice tank shots here from TY. But oh my god, even better. As TY overextends, his army gets annihilated, loses the tanks as well, and Bunny takes a fight. Meanwhile, the Unsiege! The Unsiege! We dive on top of the tanks. Can we get them? Oh, I don't think we can. Not enough Marines, not enough bio. TY, he thought he saw an opportunity and it just wasn't there. He loses his army. Ay, ay, ay. It was a trap. He thought Bunny was off guard, but really he had plenty of tanks to work with, even with the late siege. Just obliterated the Marine army of TY. Ay, ay, ay. And what's concerning is that this entire time TY has been up in upgrades. He has 3-3 against the 2-2 of his opponents, and now 3-3 is about to finish off for Bunny. Yeah, the tanks are leapfrogging forward, and there are so many tanks. Again, throughout a lot of this game, Bunny has been preserving his tank count, and TY has not. So we pointed that out earlier, where there were fights where Bunny would reset the tank count time and time again, and he would preserve his own. And that's kind of unfolding or coming to fruition here and now. TY trying to find another way in, going for a double drop. A triple drop even. Towards the north. Looks like he will find the CC. He will shut it down. Does force a cancel. Does force a cancel on that base. TY going to be rotating back. Likewise, Buddy pushing forward. He catches a tank. Catches a tank, catches Marines as well. TY is siege, but we have a mass disable. The power of the Raven. Disable all the tanks. At the same time, TY goes for a big counterattack. He does deny the third base of Bunny. But back at home, he's losing his army. Again, so many Vikings, Ravens, tanks as well. TY going straight for the main. Going straight for that main base. Trying to camp the production. Likewise, Bunny also working his way towards the natural of TY, but he's taking his time. TY, he's trying to hold on. He's pulling the boys as well, but we have so many disables available. The tanks, they do nothing for TY. 20 SCVs go down. Meanwhile, across the map, the drop from TY is still getting damage done. The picture-in-picture. Raxes are falling. He's shutting down the production. Camping the Marines, but he is running out of steam, running out of units. And Bunny, his main army, is still looking strong. Do we have another disable? We do not. We do not, but we're still pushing forward. Meanwhile, that's like, what, 12 Marines left for TY. He still has an economy, though. This pseudo base trade was maybe the best option for TY, and hey, he's getting a lot of damage done. He is picking up a lot of units. And Bunny is still not in the main. Meanwhile, here come reinforcements. TY, he wants to try to break the natural. He sims on forward, trying to get on top of the tank. Auto turrets are thrown down. Tank falls, SCVs as well. And TY, he's making some magic happen here. He's making it close. We'll take down that factory. At the same time, can TY hold on to his main? I don't think he can. He does evacuate his SCVs. At the same time, it looks like finally Bunny regains control of his own main and natural. Things getting very chaotic. It's purely tanks here across the map for Bunny. Not, it is a little bit of a vulnerable army, so he has to be careful. Does have Ravens to support. TY getting across the map with Marines. Can he break that natural? That's a lot of Marines. He's pushing in. Bunny reestablishing his production. He tries to push up into the natural base, but Bunny was in position. He had tanks. TY, he does rotate towards the north instead. And he is going to come across these Raxes. Meanwhile, you can see Bunny slowly, meticulously getting into the main. And finding more Raxes. Meanwhile, TY backs off. Okay, is there a world? I do think that TY can break this, actually. Because it's purely tanks and no Marines, I do think that TY could try to come in and surround this force of Bunny. And there's potential for him to clean it up, especially because Bunny's army is split up. Even though he has higher army supply, he's going for it. No, the medevacs go down. Full medevac gets focused down by the Vikings. Big disables on the tanks as well, and Bunny will not be broken. GG gets called, and Bunny takes game number 1. Smiling towards the end there. A little bit stressful there for Bunny, a little bit. It's one of those moments where Bunny had a really strong lead early on, and then bam, TY went for like the Hail Mary play, went just sent it across the map, got the natural. Things were getting closer, in general, Bunny, he did have like certain advantages that he kept throughout that game, but TY made him work for it. Did make him work for it in the end, and GG, well played. Bunny will take game 1, and now it's going to be TY's map of choice. Where do we go in game number 2? Where are you taking us? Where are we headed? Here we go. As again, it is going to be loser's pick. It's going to be on TY to set the stage here. Do we go for a larger map or a smaller map? Do we go for the extreme of Radisson Station, for example, or the opposite extreme and going for something smaller like Hard Lead? There it is. We're going for Hecate. Okay, interesting. Very interesting map. So, as opposed to Side Delta, Hecate, there's a lot of bases. It's a very wide map, but the biggest difference here is that Side Delta, the center of the map is very wide open. There's some, like, sure, there's points of elevation, yes, but it's very wide open. Hecate, a lot of choke points. A lot of choke points on Hecate. It can be very difficult to actually push out across the map, especially in TVT, where if your opponent is pre-sieged, if they're set up, it can be very difficult to gain ground. So I'm curious if TY wants to be greedy again and get into a stable mid to late game. A stable economy, a stable army. I'm curious. As we're loading on in and spawning in the top right hand corner of Hecate, we have for Mystery Gaming, it is Bunny. And in the bottom left, we have his opponent for the Kwangdong Freaks, it is TY. Here we go. But again, the center of the map, there are so many more like areas that you can take advantage of, you can take fights on compared to Side Delta. So I imagine TY wants to try to slow the game down, but we'll see. We'll see what his plan is going to be. We'll see how he approaches this. Remember in that last game, we had an insanely greedy opener from TY going for a very fast 3rd CC. It was 3rd CC before Factory. It was 3rd CC before 2nd Racks even. And TY was punished for it. If you remember, the hyper-aggressive nature of Bunny did pull TY apart, and that's why Bunny was able to get an advantage early on, take an economic lead, a lead that he never really lost. Did never really lose it throughout that game. And again, that's what happens when you take a risk. You know, if you cut corners, if you're very greedy, you leave yourself vulnerable, and sometimes you can be abused for that. Sometimes you can be taken advantage of, and in the end, that's what Bunny was able to pull off. Also, for context, Bunny needs one more win here to win it all for his team, for Mystery Gaming. TY has to fight back here and now to give Stats a chance. Here we go. NA qualifiers are today? Yes. Well, technically tomorrow, I guess. 11 hours, 10-ish hours time. The goal here is basically after WTL does wrap up, I'm going to try to get some sleep. And this time a proper like night of sleep as well, like a solid 8 hours. Going to go to bed, wake up just in time for the NA qualifiers, the NA server qualifiers, where we can see some of these Korean players as well to try to qualify for IM Katowice. Meanwhile, we're getting into our openers. Reaper does dip in, gets a scout, does confirm the double gas opener. As the factory is already done. Both players working on their CCs on location. Mirrored build so far between both TY and Bunny. And this time, TY doesn't try to rush into a 3rd CC. Thankfully. We're calming things down, not being anywhere near as greedy, and as a result, we should be having a more stable early game from TY. We should, at least. But we'll see. As Cyclones are on the way, working towards that starport, 1-1-1. 1 Rax, 1 Factory, 1 starport, and yeah, this should be leading into a medevac into... I mean, Cyclone drop play is very popular in TVT. Very popular. And I imagine both players, they're going to have that available to them as well. As both players are working towards their 2nd Cyclones. And there it is. Medevac is on the way for TY. Medevac should be on the way for Bunny as well. There it is. It is on the way. So we could end up in a really weird situation where both players drop across the map and they miss each other. That's very likely. On the flip side, if the medevacs come across each other, the first player to react and to drop the Cyclones could catch the opposing player, and then things can very quickly escalate out of control. So this is going to be a pretty tense moment. A pretty tense moment when both players want to be active. And here we go. TY is pushing on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, it looks like Bunny's going to be pushing on the right. Oh, Reaper may scout. Reaper does get eyes on the drop. And now Bunny should react. He should respond. Oh, no, he's committing. And he also gets scouted. Okay, both players spot each other. How do they react? As TY does turn around. Okay. TY respecting the drop quite a lot, actually. He turns around. He's trying to chase him down. Bunny none the wiser. Up! As they do drop on each other. Good control. We break the lock on. Hard pick up out of Bunny, but TY did shoot first. So TY is ahead when it comes to the HP on these Cyclones. But you can see Bunny, he's coming back with the rest of his army. He wants to try to go for this round. He's collapsing on this. And he does focus down the medevac. Medevac does fall. The Cyclones as well. Bunny catches TY completely off guard. Who caught who? As TY was hunting Bunny, but really TY was the hunted. Good control, he saves the Cyclones. They both survive. A great trade here from Bunny. And TY has to back off. Behind this, Bunny going straight for a third CC. TY just now starting his own third. So Bunny does have quite an economic lead there. He has the faster base, he has the larger army because he preserved his units, and behind this, Bunny is going for Interference Matrix, he's going for the Disable on the Ravens. Again, that was a tense moment. Reaper goes in, big scout for Bunny. He does confirm the Rax is on the way, so now he knows it's not mech. He also confirms the CC timing from TY, so he knows that he is ahead in the economy. And he's not done. Remember, he did save those Cyclones, and we're back. We're back, finally committing to the drop. Now, there is a tank at the natural, so Bunny has to be careful. He has to be very careful with his positioning here. As he dips in towards the mineral line, just barely out of range of the tank. Ooh, does take one tank shot to the face. Oh, and will lose one Cyclone. Not the best trade, one Cyclone for two SCVs. Meanwhile, Liberator arrives. TY doesn't want to take this line down, but we have plenty of Cyclones in position. We trade 1 for 1. Oh, not quite. Liberator kills one Cyclone and two SCVs. It's okay. It's an okay trade. It's some counter damage. And with that, Bunny is backing up. TY building himself back up. Also investing into Interference Matrix. Also investing into that Raven upgrade. Is one step behind Bunny, but thankfully it's only a step. You know, it's not, he's not behind by an insurmountable amount. TY is very much so in this. Scan into the main, once again confronts production. He also sees the researching tech lab, so Bunny is aware that his opponent will also have those Raven upgrades. Meanwhile, Cyclone job moving out once again. Both players getting their third bases up and running. Bunny, he is up by a couple of SCVs, as we did mention earlier. Still maintains that SCV lead. And he's back, and it looks like he will kill some more workers. The tank's not quite within range. They're repositioning. Marines are pushing in, and we do get 3-4 SCVs. Very nice pickups. We get into the main. There is a tank. Ooh, and a little bit late to pick up there. Bunny does lose one of those Cyclones. Bit unfortunate. But regardless, 5 workers, still some good trades here. Especially because Cyclones, they do get outscaled as the game progresses. It's all about the biotank and then air control. Less so Cyclones. Cyclones are, again, not as useful. So trading Cyclones for SCVs at this stage of the game is always a good thing. As we're working towards our upgrades, both players are going to be backing off, saturating their third bases. We mentioned before that being active with your main army on this map is really difficult just because there are so many choke points. And if your opponent's in position, then your opponent will be able to get the first volley off and take a better fight, take a better trade. Shot play coming in is spotted. Oh, as Bunny barely wins out that head-to-head fight as well. The Marine on Marine action. Aye, aye, aye. But Bunny, he's aware of the drop on the right-hand side, so he's just trying to split up his army, trying to keep up with the movement of Bunny. Well, as we do load up, And we will threaten a drop into the natural. The main army pushing out as well. Ooh, is spotted by TY. And he should be rotating. He's trying to, but it does feel like TY is a little bit late. Drop going straight for the main. TY, he has to respond. He does pull back in. Big disables here on the medevacs. The Marines, they're being completely shut down. Meanwhile, TY getting in position at his natural. Tanks are resieging, but we have disables. Oh, clutch on siege. 2 tanks will escape. Just barely. But the CC's under threat, and that 4th base, it's gonna go down. Big pickoff. Likewise, this time a little bit too late to unsiege on the right-hand side. Another tank is gonna be falling. But at least TY kept 2 tanks alive. The drop comes back in. No shot. It comes back into the main base. Workers are going down. TY, he's being pulled apart. He cannot keep up. Not with Bunny. That's going to be 15 dead SCVs. We drop here on the low ground. Get on top of the tank. And this is just becoming too much. The tank falls. More SCVs are going to be going down. TY, he tries to break free, but he can't. He cannot break free. Bunny at this point in full control. GG gets called, and Bunny will take the 2-0 over TY. GG, well played. This time a much more stronger, solid performance out of Bunny. Game 1 got messy. Game 1 got very messy, got very chaotic. TY was able to, again, almost pull himself back into that first game, but here in game number 2, Bunny was all over it, and yeah, really well done. GG, well played. With that, Mystery Gaming will take the win here in this Team League match. But is it going to be a 4-0 or even a 4-2? Because we have one best of 2 left, and Stats has the opportunity to fight back for himself and for his team. Up next, after this small break, it's going to be Strange versus Stats in a PvP. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our final best of 2 of the evening here of this Team League match. And Stats, Papi. He's he's got his nice cozy, jacket on. He's got the fireplace going behind him as well. Stats, after the military, he's living the life. Living the life, Papi. It's beautiful. And we're diving into our PvP. Sporting in the top left-hand corner, we have Strange for Mystery Gaming. And in the bottom right, we have his opponent for the Crackdown Freaks. It is Stats. Look, he's so cozy. Let's go. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Predictions are open for a couple of seconds, so make sure you place your bets while you can. Otherwise, you will miss your opportunity. So best of luck here, as again, I do think this is a good opportunity for the Kwangdong Freaks to fight back, to put some points on the board, but it's going to be close. I did mention before that when it comes to all the players in the Kwangdong Freaks, I do think that currently Stats is the most in form. I do think that he's currently the most in shape compared to all of his other teammates, but at the same time, this is a PvP, and this could go either way. And Strange, he's a bit of an underdog, you know, like he may not be as known as some of the other European Protoss players, you know, like Showtime or Skilless or MaxFax, but Strange is a good player in his own right, and he has gotten some good wins here in WTL for his team, so he is not one to be underestimated. And I hope that Stats doesn't underestimate him either. As we are easing our way into this, and so far we have 2 gate openers from both players, 2 gate opener out of Strange, 2 gate opener out of Stats. Both players are mirroring each other in this PvP. And we have seen Strange all in PvPs before. He has doubled down on aggression. So I'm not going to be ruling that out. Not yet. Likewise, when it comes to Stats, and when it comes to Stats' resurgence here, post-military service, I do believe that Stats, like TY, Stats' best matchup is PvP. His best matchup is Protoss versus Protoss. So this is a good opportunity for him to showcase his skills. We've seen Stats quite a bit against some of the other big Protoss players in Korea, and I do think that Stats is still currently underneath Classic and Hero. And I think he's comparable with SOS and Nightmare. I think Stats is comparable to them. I still want to favor Nightmare, and I still want to favor Creator as well. But Stats, like, he is kind of closing the distance between himself and some of the other Protoss players in Korea. He's closing that distance. I think we have seen Stats beat Nightmare before in PvP. I want to say that's happened. But now though, Stats going for his expansion, opening up with Double Stalker. Likewise, Strange going for his own expand as well. Both players are getting to sentries. The power of the sentry here in early game PvP is the scouting potential. Both players will have hallucinations that they can get across the map, and they can confirm the tech. Not just that, but they can confirm if either player has expanded, as one-way all-ins are not unheard of in PvP. You see them quite often, actually. So just really safe play from both Strange and Stats. And again, the hallucinations will eventually confirm the text here. Both players going for Twilight Councils, both players working towards Blink. And here comes a hallucination from Strange, going straight for the main base. Does get eyes on the Twilight Council, rotates around, and should get eyes on the expand. So Strange just getting eyes on everything he needs. He also sees all the sentries, so he also confirms that Stats is likewise going for a hallucinated scout, and likewise opening up safe. Now it's on Stats to figure out what also is happening, as he also confirms everything. So everything that I just said, repeated here for Stats, where he sees the Twilight Council, the Forge, the expansion. The big difference, the big deviation, is that Strange is going for a faster Forge, so as the game progresses, Strange will have +1 and his opponent will not. So technically, Strange will have the better Stalker army. Meanwhile, you love to see the hallucinated probe. For those that are wondering, when it comes to hallucinations, if you hallucinate a worker, you actually produce 4 with 1 hallucination, and they have less maneuverability because they have to work through terrain, but because you get 4 of them, you can fan them out. And you see this very commonly in PvP. The reason for this, you fan out your probe, your hallucinated probes, to look for proxies, proxy pylons specifically. So again, you see this most in PvP, just because it has its place. So Stats, he just fans out, looking for any kind of hidden pylons. As for now, the game has been pretty passive. Both players are just building themselves up on 3 bases. Both players, they take their thirds. We can see Stats working towards his Forge. He's going to have delayed +1 and delayed +2 as a result. Bear that in mind. But I believe Stats is going for a faster Robo for potentially Immortal Production. Once again, both players are working their economy. The Adepts shade in. Stats not quite in position, and probes are going to be going down. 2 Adepts do one-shot workers. We get 2. We do get 3. Almost 4. Good amount of damage. Stats before this was ahead in the worker count slightly, but now things are evening up. So a good trade from Strange. also scouts, and I believe saw the forge as well. So nice moves. As hallucination is getting across the map. Likewise, gateway explosions are upon us. As soon as +1 finishes, Strange, you go straight for +2. So again, there's going to be a +2 timing for Strange available where he can try to snowball out of control. Meanwhile, to make up for the technically worse Stalkers that Stats is going to have, Immortals are on the way. And the Immortals, they will help in that deficit. Likewise, Charge in production as well. Strange still committing to a purely Blink Stalker based composition. Still not taking up towards a Robo or even Charge. There we go. Charge just now starts. A little bit later for Strange, but on the way nonetheless. So this should be leading to Charge, and this should also be leading into Archons as well for both players. As the Gateway Explosion is upon us. Immortal production also commencing here for Strange. I'm really curious if Strange intends to take a 4th or if we just double down and go for one big timing with +2. I am curious. There's that Temple Archives that we spoke about. Again, Archons are very important at this stage of the game. Archons, they don't really do too well against Stalkers, but against Zealots, that's where they really pop off. It's very commonplace here for Protoss players to invest into Zealots, so that's where Archons, they can come in, they can zone armies away. Even if your opponent is up in supply, even if your opponent is like up, say, like 10 to 15 even Zealots, good positioning with Archons can just annihilate them. So yeah, it's been a pretty passive game so far. Both players are just taking in their own way, expanding in their own way. Strange has yet to take a 4th, which is important to take note of. He's up to 69 workers. Nice. Stats soon to be there as well. There we go. Now the 4th is on the way for Strange. A little bit later, but only by a couple of seconds. And really, this is going to come down to the armies. +2 is done. +3 is on the way. Strange not missing a beat. Going straight for +3. It looks like Stats has been chronoing to keep up, so he is actually catching up in those upgrades quite nicely. I think Strange was missing a couple of chronos, which is a bit concerning. His advantage isn't as big as it once was. So here we go. Stats is moving out across the map. Stats going to be the first here to be aggressive, and he's about to catch up in those upgrades. Yeah, +2 finishing in 10 seconds. Meanwhile, Strange getting ready here to receive. How many Archons does Strange have? That's what I want to know. You have 2 Archons, 4 Stats, and look at how many Zealots. That's a massive amount of Zealots. Without Archons, Strange is going to have a hard time holding. He does have 4. Has a 5th on the way. Zealots, they do push forward. We do have the shield battery. We have an overcharge available as well. There it is. The overcharge is going to be popped. Zealots are being cleaned up. We dive on the shield battery. Shield battery is going to go down. And Stats, he's busting his way in. The Immortal's doing so much damage in the back line. And Stats, it looks like he is breaking through the army. And he is breaking the 3rd. And Strange has almost nothing left. It all came down to one fight. GG gets called. And Stats will take game number 1. And the first game for the Kwangdong Creeps. GG. GG, well played, mate. Those Immortals from Stats, they got so much value. There were 3 Immortals in the back line. They focused down the Archons, focused down the Stalkers, of course, thereafter. Strange didn't have the best positioning with his own Archons, unfortunately. Because of that, the Zealots of Stats actually did quite well for themselves when it comes to tanking for his army and taking a lot of shots. Ooh. And yeah, very well done there. Very nicely done by Stats, able to tie up the upgrades, and he hit his own timing with +2. Strange, it did feel like he was missing a couple of opportunities there when it came to his own upgrade timings and his own pushes as well that he could have potentially gone for. Maybe second guessing himself there. And with that, Stats does take game 1, and it's going to be on Strange here to fight back in game number 2. We're going to be loading into Hard Lead. Hard Lead is up next. Whew. Here we go. Again, Hard Lead. This is an interesting one. Short rush distance. Short rush distance by ground. I'm feeling some kind of aggression here from Strange, but what kind of aggression is the question? Do we go for a proxy? Do we go for an all-in? Do we go for 2 base play? Or even 1 base play? We're here to find out. We're here to find out. Strange, what do you have in store for us? What are you going to be bringing to the table here on Hardlet? Meanwhile, Stats, he's just, you know, again, getting cozy. You know, throwing another log in the fire even behind him. What I will say is that Stats is, look, if I'm not saying there is, but if there was a green screen, behind him, he's looking nice. He's looking neat. Like, it's not looking scuffed like the like I don't know, like the Discord green screen or the default even Zoom green screen that we've seen before. It's looking good, looking clean, Bobby. And in the top left-hand corner, we have, for Mystery Gaming, Strange. And in the bottom right, we have, in the bottom right-hand corner of Hardlet, we have Stats for the Cranknon Freeze. Oh, he made it. There's a snowman. He made a snowman outside. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. So wholesome, Bobby. So wholesome. Here we go, as we are getting ready for our final game here of the series. It all ends here. It all ends on Hardlet. And for now, we have 2 gate openers. 2 gate openers from Stats as well as Strange. Probe is moving out for a bit of a scout. Strange, I believe, hasn't moved out with a probe yet. He is still in the dark. Yeah, second gateway has been thrown down. Stats is going for the scan to the main, trying to get a read on where the second pylon is and whether it gets thrown down in the base or if it gets proxied. Cybercore on their way. And Strange, he does have a probe on the map, and are we looking to throw down that pylon? No, we're just scouting. Okay. We have the second pylon in the main for Strange. Likewise, the same can be said for Stats. Strange is going for a later scout. He's going to be coming in, dipping into the main, and he will see everything. So, what he sees is standard play. Neither player is hiding anything. Neither player is proxying. Just 2 gateways. And now we're going to be having our first 2 units of choice. Last game, it was double Stalker into Sentries. Here, once again, double Stalker. Okay. Great minds. They think alike. And so far, they are opening up the exact same, for the most part, the same way. A couple of small deviations here and there when it comes to scout timings, but outside of that, we are just keeping an eye on each other, making sure that everything is as it should be. We have our tech of choice. We're going for a Twilight Council before Expand. So Strange is working towards Blink Stalkers. Behind this, we should be seeing Sentries, and there it is. We have a Sentry on the way for Stats. We have a 3rd Stalker on the way for Strange. And another Stalker as well. My eyes are on our blue Protoss player here. Probe is moving out, by the way. We are not expanding. Uh-oh. Strange. There it is. 3rd gateway. Strange going for 1 base all in. 1 base blink all in as Strange. A 3rd gateway is on the way. Stats has expanded. And little does Stats know that his opponent is doing anything but. Stalkers are fanning out. Looking to shut down any kind of scouting probe. Now, Stats does have a Sentry, so we can go for a Hallucinated Scout, and he needs to. He needs to figure out what the hell's going on. We do have a Safety Shield Battery on the way. We have a 3rd Sentry coming out as well. We're pointing out that, again, there is no expansion. We do have the 3rd Gateway, and we should be going for a 4th Proxy Gateway to reinforce. So it's going to be a 4-gate Blink All-In. A 4-gate, 1 base Blink All-In out of Strange. And Stats is still piecing it together. He's moving out with the hallucination, and this will confirm the lack of expansion as well as the production. And as soon as Stats sees this, he needs to throw down a Robo and throw down another shield battery. He gets caught out. Oh, it takes a lot of damage on one of those Stalkers. And he now knows what's happening. He's now aware. And what does Stats have? He worked on the Twilight Council. Now he starts a Robo. It is a late Robo from Stats. And that Robo is so necessary for Immortals. Without Immortals, it's going to be a tough hold for Stats. Not impossible, but it is going to be tough. And there it is. 3 more shield batteries on the way. 5 in total. bearing in mind as well that if Strange gets high ground vision, he can avoid the natural and he can blink into the main instead. Again, blink does give him the opportunity to avoid certain areas here. For now, going to be warping in additional waves of Stalkers. Strange does have the supply lead. I'm loving that Stats does have a spotter unit. Hallucinated Immortal, let's go. Stats hoping to force Strange to waste a volley of shots on that Immortal. Is he going for it? He is! Well, he dives on the Stalkers though. He ignores the Immortal. He knows. He's aware. And Stalkers are falling left and right. Stats, the shield batteries, they do nothing. There's just too much DPS. And Stats, he's down to 1 Stalker left. Ay, ay, ay. 1 Stalker and 2 sentries. 1 sentry, 0 sentries. And that is it. That is all that Stats had left. He's going for another warp in. The shield batteries, there's nothing left for them to do. They have so much energy, but it doesn't matter. Again, the burst damage of these Stalkers is just too damn high. Hands off the keyboard. GG gets called, and Strange will tie it up 1-1. GG. I said this before. We have seen Strange all in the past, and yeah, the 4-gate 1 base blink all in out of Strange, and it did take Stats too long to figure out. His robo was far too late. The Immortal came out towards the end of the game after everything had fallen, after everything had died. Again, Stats just wasn't able to piece it together in time, and with that, GG, congratulations. Congratulations to Strange, and congratulations to the to Mystery Gaming for winning it all, and of course, to Stats and Kwangdong Freaks as well for that series. At least they were able to fight back. It wasn't completely one-sided. It wasn't a 6-0. Stats, he fought back for his team, and I hope he can take some solace in that. With that, though, that wraps up day number 2, and these matches are for tomorrow. Day number 3, Matcherino Esports versus DragonKaiser Gaming, and the Platinum Heroes versus Psystorm Gaming. Oh boy, and some of these matches are actually going to be really close. Yeah, especially the Psystorm Gaming one. Bearing in mind that Spirit is no longer on Psystorm Gaming, so their roster is significantly weaker than normal. But again, that wraps up day number 2, and GG. GG, hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Hope everyone had a great time here tonight. If you enjoyed, we do cast WTL on a weekly basis, or, whenever it is available, whenever it does come around. And day number 3 is tomorrow. Meanwhile, before day 3 of WTL, which is in just under 24 hours, we're going to be live on this channel on the CranKy Ducklings covering the IEM Katowice 2024 NA Server Open Qualifier. That is in how many hours? That is in 9 hours time. So if you are unsatiated, if you want some more StarCraft inside you, then in 9 hours, we got you covered with the IEM qualifiers. We're going to be live here on this channel. Again, we cast all the qualifiers. We cast as much as we can. I did miss out on KSL earlier today. I do apologize for that. After I tried to sleep 2 hours after IEM Europe, but I wasn't able to. I did sleep in a little bit. So I woke up like 30 minutes into KSL, and I looked over and I checked TL, and I saw that it was already 30 minutes underway. And I was like, I'll just sleep. It already started. It's too late, and I just went back to bed. I was so tired after casting yesterday. After casting WTL into the Europe qualifiers. So unfortunately, I did miss out on KSL, but I will be doing a replay cast. We missed out on Korean StarCraft League, but sometime this week we'll catch up with some replays, and we'll catch up with the games that we missed. I never like missing events like that, and if I can never make up for it with replay casts, then we typically do so. So if you missed out on KSL as well, then we got you covered sometime this week. Otherwise, again, we're going to be back in 9 hours. A big shout out to Kuro. Kuro was handling the production. Without Kuro, this stream would be worse off. So thank you so much to Kuro. Thank you so much everyone in the chat as well for joining us. Big shout out to Kronos for resubscribing. And yeah, if you tune in for the first time, consider following us here on Twitch. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Discord server. All things CranKy Ducklings. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. No TikTok. We don't dance on TikTok. That's not. Maybe one day. Maybe maybe one day we'll start that up. But for now, we're everywhere else essentially. So if you want to follow us, you can. Otherwise, yeah. More importantly, check out our YouTube. We upload on a daily basis, and we stream to YouTube as well. YouTube, Poppy. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Not too sure who, but we'll find someone to raid. So give them a chance. Give them some love. Give them some support. Otherwise, thank you for watching. And we'll see you guys in 9 hours for I Am Katowice, North America. Until then, hasta luego. Bye. Hasta luego.